because they're like meaner.
Hey guys,
Shut
we're
up.
this is Rick here.
What?
On the line, I got Justin, I got Alexander. Some of my favorite Twitter bros. We're waiting for Sean to get his ass over here too. I don't know where the hell he is. Yeah, just
Probably
Sunday night
drinking.
boredom stream. Yeah, you should be drinking. You should be drinking with me. What the hell?
Let me get a whiskey. BRB.
Well, this is just like cheapo wine from Whole Foods over here.
Uh,
But dude, okay, you told me to watch that show, Too Old to Die Young, which is by the guy who made Drive. And you know, I love Drive and all, but we all know what the problem with Drive is, and it's not always a problem, but it's definitely a problem. Sometimes more than it isn't. Is that like someone will say a line and they'll stare at each other in this autistic glory, and then someone else will say a line like 5 minutes later. You know, just long pauses in conversation. Like no one talks like this, but it's cool stylistically. Too Old to Die Young is like that the entire time, and I fell asleep. I fell asleep in front of the teacher.
Is it on like Netflix or something, or
it's on Prime, and just like full like fat American like Burger Master. I just fell asleep in front of the TV and on the couch, like just it was, I don't want to say that it was boring because it was interesting what I saw, but it didn't do much to keep you awake. So I gotta revisit. I promise I'll try to marathon it. But
I'll probably end up watching that later then because I need a new show to watch.
It's good. It's pretty, you know, but damn, it's slow, man. I couldn't get past it. But before we went live, we were laughing about this thread. This dude, there, some like angry set of a contest are like trying to dunk on our buddy Jay Dyer. And they're like, looks like you found an ortho priest with similar ambitions. Here's the funny part. It shows him like next to his priest, and his priest was releasing this book about Christian art, which I haven't read, obviously. You know, I got too many books already. But I love the unbuttoned, untucked shirt in the church. I can see why he didn't last in SSPX circles.
Got him.
Got him. Got him.
Got him, bro.
Take that, schismatic. I have destroyed your church.
They let you win with an unbuttoned shirt? For shame.
Oh, man.
This is like when I found out Review Bra wears T-shirts.
Oh, my God. Your whole world comes crumbling down, bro. It's like today at church I wore black jeans. Yeah, I didn't wear slacks. Truly. Anathema.
For guys who don't know him, look up Dobry of Dobrev or Dobrev. He was this old man.
Are you talking about that Elder Dobry?
Elder Dobry.
Yeah.
This was like he looks like someone who like came out of like a 200-year time portal. He looks like someone from another world. But he was a man in Bulgaria who he was homeless. He wasn't homeless. He had like a little hovel he lived in, but he lived in the streets. All he did was collect money and give it to the churches, and he ended up giving like $30,000 worth of money to these these suffering churches in his area, and it was incredible. He saved these places all by one. Basically, what these guys complain about one unbuttoned shirt in the church. You know, they look at this man who's dressed in rags. They'd spit on him. And there's a reason that these guys they only have a reputation that I guess to themselves they think they're like some sort of like ultra like I don't know, fastidious conservative type of thing, but it's like, dude, no, you just sound like a judgmental asshole.
Yeah, you're gay.
You're freaking gay, bro.
No poor people in my SXPX church.
Seriously, like get this hobo out of here. We're trying to worship the Lord, you scumbag. Like, just okay. There's that famous story, and it's attributed to different bishops. Not even sure where it came from originally. It was one that happened recently. I think I told it on the show before, which is like this guy. This woman walks in, and she's wearing kind of like not a bummy t-shirt, but a t-shirt and jeans. And someone stops her before she walks to the church. It's an Orthodox church. and says, "You can't come in here dressed like that. Get out of here. Go change something." And the woman leaves, kind of ashamed, and never comes back. Apparently, the priest was visiting that day. I mean, the bishop was visiting that day. He saw this happen, and during the homily, he steps out in front of the entire congregation, and he's like, "One of you turned the woman away from here because of how she was dressed. I'm imposing an obedience upon you. You were to pray for this woman every day for the rest of your life, and nobody can lift this from you except me. And you pray that she finds salvation, she comes back to the church somehow." It's so obscene to and this is the attitude of the very online Catholic types, or like the hardcore sedevacantist types, to they, much like how the Pharisees took being of the blood of Abraham, instead of responsibility, took it as almost like an elite status symbol. They're taking the phrase that there's no salvation outside the church, which they believe about their church, and they're using that as some sort of like the same thing in this elite status symbol. Like, if you're outside, you're some sort of unsafe trash to be looked down upon. This is awful, man. How the hell can you talk about people like this? Anyway, that's me. That's my opinion.
I co-sign that. I mean,
My opinion is that these people are gay.
Double gay, bro. Extreme gay. Extremely online and gay. Unapproved and anathema. Damn, we're trying. Oh, so for those of you guys who are, I should probably check the live chat as well. Those of you guys who follow me or are following my shenanigans online, or offline, I should say.
Wait, there's a live chat?
Yeah, there's always a live chat.
I'm retarded. Where is that?
You have to go to the streaming link for the actual show. Found out the gender of my soon to be born spawn. Soon to be born is in like December.
Spawn.
It's a girl. It's a girl. I'm gonna have a girl. I'm increasing the numbers of the female race. I'm starting a gynocracy in my house. I need at least 10 more guns, and full armaments against the powers of the devil, which is to corrupt all women. That's my job now, apparently. So, yeah, having a girl, pretty cool. Okay, let's check out the live chat. Hell yeah, welcome back. I guess we're back. I don't know.
Hector's gonna have a great time.
Oh yeah. When I watched Drive, I thought Ryan was just supposed to be a character with Asperger's, so I thought, hey, this is a cool idea. I wore blue jeans literally like, oh, I wore blue. I'm wearing blue jeans. I'm wearing the same blue jeans I wore to church today. Is this Eric Stryker? No, it's not Eric Stryker.
Oh, shit, there are people watching.
Yeah, congrats, Rick. Glory to God. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a weighty responsibility. The enemies without number.
It's all right. We're gonna make it. We're gonna win. That's fine.
We're gonna make it, fam.
That's right. Oh, but speaking of making it, how excited are y'all? I don't know if y'all are as excited as me for the day when we get to eat maggots.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to be force-fed maggots as like some dude who decided to dedicate his life to subsistence farming 10 years ago gets to sneer at me now because I didn't start an acre's worth of food production from my apartment, or like quit my career that I'm a few years into now to start farming immediately. What a cuck I am! So stupid.
I really usually like that guy. When he went on that whole rant, I was like, "Are you serious, bro?" Like,
Look.
not everyone lives in an area where they can just buy land and start, farming. And two, not everybody is even like called or meant for that. Like, I'm sorry, especially in this modern era, that's just not what a lot of people are going to do, especially if you're already settled and you already have a career and you have a wife and you have kids. And they're like, sorry, sweetheart, we're going to take you and daddy's 6 kids and we're going to
tell my wife right now, maybe quit teaching for your job We're moving to the Redlands. We're gonna start farming because like some guy on Twitter told me I was a cuck if I don't do it right away.
I don't want to eat maggots, babe. You want to eat
I
maggots?
want to eat maggots, baby. I don't want to eat the maggots. Please let me eat the maggots. Look, not everyone can do that, okay, man? Not everyone can do it. So, best option is to find the guy who does do that, and you support him. You buy stuff from him. You visit his farm. You. That's a good way. You know, you don't gotta be like freaking sneering down at me because I didn't freaking start farming for my 3-bedroom apartment in the middle of Miami. Get the hell out of here.
Oh man, I was impressed. And that thread went on for a while too. I was like, is he done yet? He ain't done. He's still got more to say.
But you know what else, man? This is the same problem with like Roger's Benedict option. It's like like what Sean says, who by the way we're still waiting for you, Sean. I'll send him there a message. It's like yeah, go ahead and start your peaceful woods church. In the freaking rural area, you're secluded anti-civilizational church, and get Wacoed by the ATF, bro. Like, they won't let you run. They won't let you run, man.
Oh man, it's just like especially me. My end goal. It ain't gonna happen in 10 years, and it might not even happen in 20. But
What?
through time, my end goal is to basically homestead and live on my own. And I'm just gonna go me and my family and whatever close community I have. And if you come on my lawn, depending on my mood, I'm either gonna invite you in and give you a bed and food, or I'll shoot you. It just really depends on how I feel that day. And that's
How I feel and who you are.
That's right. That's right. Why'd you shoot him? Wrong shade of color, Fowler. I didn't like the cut of his jib.
Cross looked all funny. He crossed himself the wrong way.
Yeah, he went left to right, and I was like, no, sir.
For this, you must hang.
I was actually reading this book called Loris, and there's like this giant scene where something like that happens. Like the main character goes into this like port in Venice, and these Croatians thinks he's a Turk, or they think like his companion is a Turk or something. Then he's like, prove you're not a Turk, cross yourself. And he crosses himself the Orthodox way. And they say, oh, look, he crossed himself the wrong way. He is a Turk. And then they go out and try to lynch him. And it was a really funny scene.
Goodness gracious. Today is like anniversary of like the war in Cyprus. I go to Greek Orthodox Church, so there was a encyclical during it, and then afterwards, after the whole service, my priest talked a little bit about it because his father-in-law died in the Cypriot War, fighting the Turks, like just a couple days before peace was called, and and it's like it's so strange to me because. I'm probably going to offend a lot of people here, but whatever, I do it anyway. Turks and Greeks, maybe it's just like now, but they seem so similar to me. But maybe that's why they hate each other. I don't know. They like the cuisine is similar, and like they're very strong. Like even like liberal Greeks are like, I'm Greek first before anything. You know how it is.
You have a block on Nicholas Taleb.
Yeah. Listen, you know what I'm saying? All meds are the same. Turk, Greek, Italian, Spanish, they're all the same. They eat the same, they sound the same, they party, they drink, half of their cuisine is just dessert,
Different kinds of pastries with honey in them and some sort of nuts.
Yeah.
Different like variations of the baklava theme.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, oh. Cut.
Hey, fellas. Sorry, it was light. I don't want her alive on the air.
No. Can she hear? Or, oh, you have earbuds in, so she can't hear.
That's fine.
That's a good thing that she can't hear. She would probably like beat you over the head. But yeah, and it's really like it's still, it seems like fresh in some of their minds, like it just happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was just like a sort of a somber thing afterward. Everybody seems sort of like sad and down. And during an encyclical, the new Archbishop of, the Greek Archbishop of America was just like, pray for a nonviolent solution to the whole thing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, obviously it's what you pray for, but they're Turks. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, there's not that it can't happen, but I'm really doubting a mass conversion of the Turks tomorrow. I think, yeah, that whole area is ready to pop. There's a very a lot of the monks on Mount Athos are saying is that there's going to be a huge war, bigger than anything we've seen before.
That's pretty impressive because World War II was pretty big.
Yeah, well, that's what the monks on Athos are saying. That I've talked to a couple of people who come back from Athos who said the same thing. Who said that that's like the current like consensus on Athos is like really bad stuff is coming down the pipeline.
Well, in the state of things, especially within the Balkan Mediterranean region, I don't disbelieve it. And then, of course, you throw in the immigration problems and the current other spiritual issues that are like beyond comprehension throughout all of, well, the world in general, but particularly Western Europe and America. And it's just like, it's all it's going to take is like one domino to fall over. And it's just going to be like, just like World War I, how like, they assassinated the Archduke, and then everything just like poof. That's it. That's all that's needed. It's just one event like that, and it all comes back.
The powder keg situation where everything's all tense. One thing sets it off. I guess we'll hope it doesn't. Come to that.
That's why last semester, some of my fellow students was asking me like, "What's your politics?" And I'm like, Orthodox Christian. And they're like, what's that mean? And I was like, well, I'll tell you what it means for who I vote for now. I said, here is who I vote for. The person who wants to kill the least amount of babies and who does not want to set off another global war. I said, now listen to what I just said, and do you understand how sad and pathetic that is? It's literally the bottom of the morality barrel. I'm literally like, I don't want a Moloch sacrificing sociopath to kill us all.
Yeah, it's like very minimal standards right now, man. It's very a lot of Gomanio going on. It's like, hey, let's just hope for the.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, I want this and weed and blah 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 blah. I'm like, dude, everybody smokes weed anyway, law or no law. I've never seen it stop anyone. I've never ever met a person who's like, you know what, bro? You can't smoke that. That's against the law. Never. Sorry.
I want $1,000 free of dank kush every month. It's literally an Amazon Prime drone.
UBI for weed.
Or else the Jews win.
I don't even care if the Jews win. You know what? If the Jews give me $1,000 worth of dank kush, who cares?
I just want.
Israel is actually the world's largest producer of marijuana.
Wow, I'm shocked.
And also everything else horrible, but
yeah, I remember like one of the things I learned in history science class from my gay teacher that like just made us watch Bill Nye all day. He but
wait, the old series or the new one?
The new one.
Oh god.
Oh,
he didn't watch. He didn't like that one really bad one, like the sex junk. He never played that, but like he played like this like hour-long episode on marijuana, and like it was like a that episode of Family Guy that all the stoners like to say like I did my research and they just watch that one episode, but it's like that. But
did my research, bro.
It's like that, but it's like Bill Nye, and he's like hanging out in his Israeli pot farm, and it's really gay.
It's like it's like how atheists are like, how to become atheist? Easy. I just read the Bible. Like, no, you didn't. You read some other fat fedora nerds like commentary on like a couple scriptures in Leviticus, and you're like, wow, I've basically read the whole Bible now, and now I've stopped believing.
Dude, trust me on this. Like it's all those people are like, dude, trust me, dude. The Eucharist isn't the body of Christ. I went to Catholic school, like.
Oh man,
They all say it, bro. They all like believe me. I know what I'm talking about. I went to Catholic school for 10 years. Like,
okay,
man.
that's just
The
proof.
Trinity is heresy. Trust me, I'm Greek.
Freaking rocking Mr. Heresy.
Yo, you know what? I discovered that all the ecumenical councils wrong. You know who's right? Me.
Jehovah's Witnesses. That's it.
2,000 years of collected wisdom. And there's me, rocking philosophy.
Actually, the Bible says what I personally believe without any research besides my own interpretation. And the part that says don't have your own interpretations, well, guess what? It was talking about you and not me.
The Bible says don't trust the dudes in robes. So obviously that means Jesus wore like blue jeans and like a shirt and he had a buzz cut. And
he was like my youth pastor.
yeah.
Youth pastor Jesus.
When he was rapping his sermons, he was sitting backwards in a chair, A.C. Slater style. Just let you know what's up, fellas.
All I can think of is like the Babylonian Bee articles where they make fun of youth pastors. That's all I can think of right now.
So I'm gonna rap with you. I'll be honest.
Wow, man, I'm glad. Like when I went to a non-denominational prot church, that my youth pastors weren't that cringe. Lord have mercy. Like we played games and had a nice time, but we still like mostly talked about scripture. Apparently, according to Babylon B, it's real worse now.
Yeah. Okay, we have some guys saying appeal to intimidation. I don't know what the context of that is, but quoting fallacies like some sort of atheist nerd is not a good look, fam. Flaw Intellect says Catholic schools are basically just atheist factories, especially since they don't have believing Catholics teaching these days. It's true.
Yeah.
And you could ask Emiko Jones about this. He talks about this all the time about the Catholic schools are not run by the Catholic Church anymore.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things. I saw like James Martin is like, it's like, think about what if we kicked gay people out of the Catholic schools? That would extend to the atheists and the Protestants. Like, it's a Catholic school. Like, it's been a while since I've seen the tweet, but he said like that almost verbatim. Like, why would you want to kick the atheists out of a religious school? Like,
that's like if I went to like a Jewish private school and they didn't serve pork. I'm like, what is this Holocaust? Where's my pork?
Bro,
I'm really offended.
This is at least like a 0.05 show. It's like a Desi show.
I feel Holocausted.
I feel like a little Holocausted right now.
it's like a really funny thing. I forgot the rabbi's name, but there's like this rabbi. Jews aren't allowed to eat like meat and cheese together, so they're not allowed to eat like chicken parm and stuff. But there was this one rabbi who said like, no, chicken parm is allowed because I like it or something. And
okay,
he got in trouble. That Ashkenaz bull guy on Twitter, the base Jew, he knows about it, but
what is that law?
It was something like that.
What kind of law prevents?
It was like literally
about Talmudism.
Yes, that's some whack. You can't have chicken and cheese. It's forbidden specifically.
Have it separately in separate meals, but not the same. Not the same meal, bro.
It's like they just make rules to make rules. Okay, sorry.
So we got two people saying that Alex is back. They're happy that you're back, Alex. Well, he's never left. He's been in the chat the whole time, but not everyone can join the live streams all the time.
Where the hell is
Where is our
Sean?
residential Midwestern drunk? I need him.
I'm very upset that Sean is probably like asleep at this point.
Dude, if he has drunk himself into a stupor already.
One of those nights. Hold on.
Watch
this. Calling him live on air.
Do it. Call him a faggot.
Hey, faggot. Sean. Sean, I got the greatest contact photo for Sean. If you guys want to see this one.
Nice. Yeah, I remember that picture. He just Chad just
Wait.
close
Hold
off.
that. Hold that thought. Putting him on speaker.
Madman.
Hell, man.
Told you.
Shame.
This is Sean Mosley. Do that.
Nope. Sean's out.
Can't believe the Bog Nog made it for a short time. And where's everybody else? Because I got to go in 15 minutes, and I don't want to leave just you two dumb niggers here. Sorry, can I say that? Is that allowed on the YouTube? Can I say nigger?
On ZogTube, I don't know.
Oh,
Look,
well,
just look.
it's too late.
We're all black here. Fine.
I'm Irish.
We're allowed to use that.
Peruvian.
He became black on baptism. It's
Exactly.
honorary POC.
I converted like my faith and my race.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Right. That's one of the things I. Oh my God. That's one of the things I just get from the rad trads is like, you're Scots Irish, so you should either be Protestant or Catholic. And I'm like,
Okay, says who?
I'm like, what?
Citation needed, bro. Show me where it says that.
I'm like, oh,
The
okay.
same people are like, whoa, look at these Russians that are Catholic. That's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, beast. I'm like,
Based
oh.
Russian Catholics, however, you
I'm a LARPer.
gotta be, yeah, whatever.
Anything that I don't like is LARP.
If I like
I
it,
still
it's
think-
not. It's like
But you
Paul
know what?
Scalise and Lindy. And Paul Scalise will be like, "Oh yeah, if I like it, it's Lindy. If I don't like it, it's not Lindy."
I can't believe I was blocked in like 30 minutes. I didn't even tweet at him. He literally name searched himself because you do that apparently, according to or not orc, but who was it?
Some dude.
Wait, guys. Here he is. Yo,
Hey, buddy. Are you guys still doing the thing?
yeah, you're live right now. People are listening to you.
Okay. Okay, I'll be right on, man. I totally spaced it. I'm packing for Houston tomorrow.
All right, cool, man.
I'll be right on.
See ya.
Okay,
Nice.
good. Thank goodness.
Finally, some good content on here.
Yeah, no, for real. Thank God. I can't ramble on forever. I don't have enough whiskey in me.
Oh man. Hey. Luckily, I took a nap when I was watching Too Young to Die, Too Old to Die Young.
So it's on Amazon. How many episodes is there?
Not much. I think like 10. It's called a miniseries, so it's got to be like 10 or less.
What's it about?
Well, it starts with this cop and his partner gets shot.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey,
we
Sean,
go.
what's up?
Hey, we was
Right.
worried.
Yeah, I'm
Talking about
headed to Houston
Amazon
tomorrow.
or something.
Wait, what?
Which one are you talking to?
What?
You, Sean.
Oh, I'm headed to Houston tomorrow. I'm like trying to pack and get everything ready because I got to leave in the morning and I completely spaced. I was like, yeah, of course we're supposed to be doing that hangout.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking, well, right now we're about to talking about Too Old to Die Young, but I fell asleep while watching the first episode.
Yeah. Hey, if you're gonna watch that show, all I gotta say is get used to the fast forward button. I watched that. I'm not even joking, dude. I watched 5 full minutes of episode 2, and I didn't miss anything. Like that's just
Wow.
how that director is in general. Like it's all
Yeah.
slow deadpans, and it's like just fast forward. Just if it's like if you're getting yawny, just fast forward 10, 15 minutes. You're not gonna miss anything but a bunch of stylistic stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's what I did. I mean,
I kind of like the stylistic stuff, but I was just too tired today, man. Because yesterday, the tension in finding out, the gender of my baby, just like it was so tightly wound. As soon as I found out, I had just a huge adrenaline crash, and I'm still feeling it today. I'm still feeling tired from being stressed out for like hours yesterday. My dad ended up being like an hour and a half late, so I had to keep everyone. It ended up being like 30 people crammed into my mom's house.
Oh my
We had a whole at my mom's house. I couldn't fit everyone in my apartment, so we had a whole at my mom's. My mom has bad AC in her house, so everyone's sweating. We're all just waiting.
I was just saying.
Full spick, bro. Full spick. Just everyone crammed in there. Everyone's just like talking loud. And just like my dad's like missing. I'm like, oh my god, where the hell is everybody? Oh my god. Finally, he shows up. We do it. We open the umbrella, and the properly colored rose petals fall out. So it was the little thing that Carly came up with.
Oh my god, that's awesome though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just like adrenaline crash.
I'm sorry. This is funny. He said, "There's 30 people here. Where the hell is everybody?" Like that's not pretty funny.
There's only 30 people here.
Like my immediate family is like 8 niggas.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I had people from church there too, and like I can only fit so many because after all family came in, there was only so many people I could fit into the damn house. So I had like 5 church bros there, and then like I had other guys in church who saw it on Instagram, and they're like, "Thanks for the invite, dog." I'm like, I can't bring everybody.
Y'all do it in cars perfectly fine. Why can't you do it in a house?
Oh man.
Oh man.
I bet the Mexican clowns can pull off that car gag really well. They do it that way for free. Imagine doing that when they gotta get paid for it, man. It's gotta be like 30 people in that car.
Rebel News says, "Oh, WTF, it's Jeb," and I corrected him. I said, "Jeb is dead. It's Justin now. Jeb is his dead name, so please respect us."
Yeah. Speaking of Mexicans, that too old to die young, man. I cannot believe that did not get like protests from Mexican Americans. Like I cannot believe they're even letting that like shit on TV.
What is it about though? Then like.
It's about 3 different stories kind of going on simultaneously. I don't know. I don't want to get too far into it because Rick hasn't seen it yet. But all you got to say is when Rick, you watch it, you're gonna be like, "Holy shit! Like this is the most racist thing as Mexicans I've ever seen in my life, and it's fantastic." But it's just like sometimes that shit just goes underneath the radar. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just. When you watch it, I think you'll see what I'm saying. Like, how did this SJW like Latinx mafia like get this? How did let's get by this?
Or did y'all see that video of what CNN said SJW means?
Oh yeah,
code word SJW means stingy Jew.
Stingy Jew. And trap means hot girl I want to rape. What the hell? Someone trolled them hard with that stuff, man.
They went onto a 4chan board and they're like, "What do these terms mean?" And those guys had a blast.
Exactly.
Like honestly, normally I'd think it's fake, but like there's never been a single news site that actually like did research. Right? Even if they did research, I think they're just too retarded to understand. Like, you know.
It's very true. See, I thought it was fake at first too, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, actually, they're this retarded. Actually, I take that back. That's offensive to retards who are good, usually sweet, gentle, loving people. And as we know, the media and journalists all deserve the rope. So I apologize to retards out there. Do forgive me.
I would say that Down syndrome kids are sweet and loving. I've met some fucking monster retards, man.
That's
a
true.
50-50 thing.
That is true. I used to teach.
Retard strength is retard strength is a real thing.
Oh, yes, it is. I used to teach martial arts to a class called Gifted Warriors, and it was I
thought you were about to say. I used to teach martial arts to retards.
Well, I mean, some of them were.
We used to put them in pins in the back, and put bets on them like fucking.
Throw ices at them. But the Gifted Warriors was a class created by this. He was like a 7-foot tall, huge biker dude. He looked like he'd tear you in half. But his sister had Down syndrome, but she loved martial arts, so he started this class where he would teach people like they were like from little kids to old adults martial arts, and some of the most lovely experiences in my life. And but yeah, those some of them people I was terrified of. I was like, if they get mad and they hit me, I'm probably just gonna I'm gonna die. They're gonna like my head is gonna like do a Mortal Kombat thing where it just flies off, and
I'm gonna die, and that will be the story of me.
I felt
That's
it
it.
personally when Mike, that was the guy who started it. His sister, we were
You're gonna die,
having
and it's gonna be like a 4chan green text.
yeah, exactly. The Morse way to go. And we were having like a fun day where we had padded swords and all that sort of stuff. And for some reason, she wanted to sword fight me. So I was like, all right, padded sword fight. Here we go. And Mike was like, you can't do that. That's not fair. You have to fight on like your knees. And so I was like, all right, fine, I'll sword fight on my knees. So I got on my knees, and she swung with her retard strength and walked me right across the face. Glasses just flew off, bruised immediately. And then I stood up, and then she swung upward and hit me right in the groin. And I never hit the ground so fast in my life.
Jeez, man.
Dude, it was brutal. But I was laughing the entire time. So went through wheezes and gasps and breath and begging God for mercy. But, yeah.
Hey, so Sean,
I was ready for Alex to finish it off with like, yeah. Then I knocked her ass out and stood over her body and said, "Yeah, pussy pass denied, bitch."
Mike would have killed me, so no.
so Sean, I was talking about how I'm bringing another member of the democracy into this world, and how I got like trying my hardest to keep all the freaking demonic influences away from her. You know, I'm gonna need at least 10 more guns. Frequent trips to the monastery, the women's monastery.
Yeah.
Just constant warfare.
Yeah, Liam, one of my friends were kind of talking about this a couple days ago because it kind of came up because we were playing golf, and the guy behind us was teaching his daughter how to play, and we were talking about how that's kind of like what rich white guys kind of do to their daughters to try to like make sure they don't get into groy territory. Like if they know how to pregame, they're going with tennis and they're going with like golf, and they're going to these like very implicitly white like sports to make sure that doesn't happen. And he brought up a story about how like his wife's brother-in-law or his brother-in-law did this with his daughter, and his daughter got like a scholarship to a college, and how she's doing really well, and she's like really functional, and you know has a white boyfriend and things like that. It's like, yeah, exactly. And I bet you if you were to like low key kind of like get to know him and have a couple scotches with him, he'd be like, yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? Like she's growing up kind of in an urban setting, and we went out to the suburbs, and damn sure wanted to make sure I didn't have a crazy teenage pregnancy or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and I didn't want kind of keep her in bounds a little bit or help her out. You know, it's more helping her out. It's like it's not like a tool of control. It's just like I mean, it's like for guys. There's just a constant reality check called your friends. Your friends are always going to be that reality check. Like women always just coddle each other all the time. Moms coddle their daughters. Some of the aunts.
Nothing but a
coddling session.
Nothing but a validation fest.
Yeah.
When the girls are over here, it's from my wife. Nothing but just a validation fest. So I gotta be the one to be like, bring her down to earth. Like, actually, no, you can't just do whatever the fuck you want.
Right. It's like, because for men, it's like a brutal reality check just every second. You say fucking anything, like you grab it like Bill Burr was always talking about, like, a guy can't do anything. A guy can't like look at a puppy and say it's cute because he's got 5,000 guys he grew up with saying call him a pussy and a faggot.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was Bill Burr's joke, right? Where he's like he has a banana like pancakes. He puts maple syrup on. They're like, oh, look at
wanna
That's
shove a
sweet
banana
enough for you, and
Yeah, it's like,
he just died of a heart attack.
like he wants a pumpkin. He wants to carve a pumpkin, and every time he's real close, and he's like, "Fag!" And then the little voice.
Remember you at Martha Stewart now?
And he's like really upset at his girlfriend. He's like, "Oh my god, pumpkins!" And he's like, "Fuck! Why can't I do that?"
Jeez.
Yeah, it's 100% truth, and it's funny because right before I was on here, it was like there was a tweet that was out there, and it was like somebody was talking about how like they need to stop like young teenage white dykes like on the internet because they're horrible, and it was some kind of
There's a lot of those at my school.
it's like it was some kind of Snapchat of like of this chick that she was like snapping her fingers and her clothes would change. She went into like a boy's suit, and she's like pimping out a boy's suit, and like so. Someone was kind of making fun of that, and so this other teenage girl gets on there, and she's talking about like, why doesn't everybody just quit judging and stop putting so much negative energy into the world? Don't you look at our modern political environment? It's like, yeah, we should just take out all negativity, all judgmentalness out of this world, and just live like in a fucking really dull, super positive, lame ass, fake existence. In this,
Except about Trump, right? Am I right, fellas?
Yeah.
That's right, exactly.
And it's all for teenage girls. It's everything. All this shit is for teenage girls. Just because we don't want to like hurt anybody's feelings, it's like fuck you. I know teenage girls. You're the cruelest people on earth.
Yes,
So quit telling the rest of the world to stop being negative and mean and bitchy, because that's what you guys. That's what your profession is. That's what you do.
They're trying to eliminate competition.
I need to call them out on it.
that's,
They're like, "I'm a Pisces. You can't treat me this way."
Racism for women.
That's right. Yeah, so
Dude, so I'm there. After all the festivities are over and I'm at home, I look at my cat. I'm like, well, Indy, it's you and me. We're the only guys in this. We're going to be the only dude in this apartment now. And he looks at me and meows.
Then he leaves. He leaves the room.
Okay, whatever, cook. I'm out of here.
that's why you get a dog, and he just stays with you no matter what. And you always have one. Now you have another dude, and he's loyal to you above all else. No one else will see more loyalty.
He's
Yeah, but I can't have
wait a
dogs in the
second, you're a
apartment.
dude?
Wait, hold on, bro. You're a guy? You're always kissing me, bro. You queer.
And wait a second, you're sticking around? You know you can just leave, right?
You just leave, dog. You're going to stay around. What are you talking about? Look, after a year, he can feed himself.
Oh, God.
You can come back at 6 months and eat the baby.
Real cat dad hours.
Yeah, I got my exact same buddy that I was just talking about. I was just golfing with. He's got 2 daughters and a wife, and he just lives in Estrogen City. And it came out that he has to get testosterone boosters, and then he has to inject them. And so we're talking to him about like, so you know, what do you just shoot that shit up in your ass, like, and like, and like talking about it, and like he's like, no, my wife's a nurse, so she injects it in my ass. And so we're all like, seriously, your fucking wife shoots testosterone in your butt? Like this is your. Do you realize this is your life? You're surrounded by women, and they're shooting testosterone in your ass. Like this is 2019. If I haven't heard anything,
Oh Lord,
poor guy.
Poor guy. I know. God bless him. He's in trouble.
And I asked him the other day if he's going to try for like a boy, and he's like, I don't know, man. We're just getting this one, so it's like past the baby stage. And I don't know if I want to go through it again.
dude. But once you have more testosterone in your system, it's more likely to have a boy anyway.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's
So
what I mean.
I'm probably getting low T right now, which is why we had a girl. So I gotta get some testosterone boost myself. Get some boys up in here. Get a little red bunctious youngster up in here.
What you need is enough boys, depending on the ratio of girls that you have, so that they can grow up and like be their protectors always, so that you don't have to.
But they're gonna be younger than her. It's gonna be a weird dynamic. I gotta be the protector. They gotta be like the little
younger brothers can still be good protectors as long as you raise them properly.
Yeah,
like,
after a certain age.
Women are always children. It don't matter if she's 10, 20, or 40. Like you just it don't matter. They still need.
Hang around until she's 17 and just stops there development. So I don't know. No, I wouldn't do that.
Unfortunately, my dear friends, I have made a promise, and it is best I keep it.
All
I've
right,
got
Alex.
sending as it is. Y'all need to pick a day
Comandante.
where I ain't busy. And
Yeah, Sunday nights, notorious for just just hard work hours.
well, I'm not working.
Yeah, don't bust too much ass at the mines, Alex.
Yeah, slaving away as bognogs do, working on the railroad.
Yeah, just like Chernobyl over here, just digging under the reactor.
All right, I love y'all. Take care.
Later.
See you, Alex.
Later, bro.
And just for the RIB world out there that's listening, we do pick this day because Alex is busy.
Whoa, what's going on here?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, my thing was bouncing back at me. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. Say it again.
We picked today because Alex wasn't here. I mean, Alex had to leave early.
Finally.
Yeah, that's just
So,
just between us and the audience.
Yeah, just don't tell him. But hey, did you guys watch Chernobyl?
Not yet. It's on my list though.
It's really, really good. There's a part at the end. Really good. Holy crap! Fantastic. There's a part at the end.
The director is a libtard.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, well, I'm surprised as libtard he didn't be more cheerful towards the Soviet Union because it comes up pretty hard against them. But here's the thing. It's a funny moment at the end. I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but towards the last episode, they're trying to shut one of these guys up because the whole point of the Soviet Union is constantly lying about everything. The empire of lies. Towards the end, they're trying to get one guy to basically shut his mouth, and they tell him, hey, earlier in your career, you shut out these Jewish scientists from this organization or whatever. And so I lean over to my wife. I'm like, he was a hero all along. He's always been a hero, guys. Oh man. She always it's been years. He's been trying to just be denial all the time, but you can only just. She's there watching. I tweeted this. She's watching Wolf of Wall Street, and she's like, God, I can't believe this guy was just a scumbag. It's unbelievable how you addicted to luxury and opulence. I'm like, yeah. Guess what he was? He looks at me and she goes, no, he wasn't.
A Mormon.
I'm like, oh yeah? Go look it up. She's like, I'm gonna look this up. No way. Looks it up. God damn it.
Yeah. Like they always do that with the bad Jewish guys. Is they always have a goy, a blonde super goy at that. Always play that character.
Oh,
it's like all the mobster flicks. You know what I mean? It's always some. The Jewish guys are always played by these goys, and it's just like, come on. Did you see that Russian Insider Today article? I forgot who sent it or where it was at. I got it at. You probably remember it.
Maybe
it was. Let me try to find it real quick.
Hey, look.
It was Russia Insider, Charlottesville Sydney today. The headline's 4 young patriots to be crucified for the crime of free speech, assembly, and self-defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I send that over to Wolf, and he sends back another couple things from them. And I didn't realize just how hardcore they were. But one of their headlines is Jews, not Italians, dominate American organized crime, which is far more powerful than people realize.
Oh yeah,
it's very, very true. But it's that's one hell of a headline too.
Oh, dude, my wife was shocked to learn about the existence and behavior of the Shomrim.
Hey, what's that?
The Shomrim is the private Jewish police in a lot of New York neighborhoods.
Oh.
Basically, these guys have their own police department, their own they're basically vigilantes, and no one can stop them because if a bunch of Shomrim beat you up, you can get it on camera, and the judge will throw the case out because he didn't want to piss off all the Jews in power.
Yeah,
It's happened a bunch of times, dude. Happened a bunch of times. The showman would just beat the crap out of someone on camera. Like a crowd of them beating one guy up for something stupid like, oh, he's on a bike and he cut off some dude driving his van who was trying to run into him. That's on camera. The dude was trying to run into the dude on the bike, and he pins the dude between two cars, and the bike dude's like, "Get the hell out of my way! I'm trying to get out of here." And he's like, "No, you can't." He's shoving his finger in the guy's chest. You can't ride your bike here. And he smacks the dude's hands away, and then he's like, he just calls out to the other dudes in the neighborhood, like, call Sherm Rim, 5 minutes, surrounded by Jewish cops.
Holy moly!
Astounding, and no one will ever prosecute these guys. Nobody will ever prosecute these people. So yeah. Okay. So I'm hearing this now. People are saying about Chernobyl. Jared Harris is great. It's a brutal show. One of the creators suggested the whole series was meant to be a huge Trump own. Kidding me?
Yeah, he literally said like some random dude on Twitter was like, "This show's about Trump," and then like the director like, "Looks like you've been watching really closely." Like,
oh my god, I love these comparisons. I was talking to this old Greek woman today at church, and we were both kind of talking about how we used to be Democrats, and like we run into these like really crazed Democrats all the time. Like, and a lot of them won't be our friends anymore. They won't talk to us because of Trump. And I was talking to her, and I was like, I remember when Clinton was president. Like, I'm that old. I remember that. Like, I remember my parents, were big Clinton fans. And if you took like just policy wise, if you just took Clinton and took Trump, just policy wise, and just put their policy side by side, they're exactly the same. There's no difference between them. It's just, I think it's partly like media frenzy, and just partly like the fact that he has kind of an assertive, masculine attitude that Americans just aren't used to in their presidents. They're just used to just these kind of beta fucking soft-spoken pussies. Like even like the great Reagan, you know what I mean? Like these guys just weren't.
He's kind of a dopey guy.
Yeah, just kind of just non-threatening.
I mean, he's not as bad as Obama was, but he was kind of a dopey guy.
Yeah.
Look at historically. Look at guys like like if you guys look at like Teddy Roosevelt, like man, he wouldn't survive in this climate. He was balls to the wall, intense dude.
Boxing world leaders. Basically, every president we had before women got the right to vote, right?
Yeah.
We're allowed to have facial hair for men.
Non-threatening, like cowards.
Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense. Like once women got the right to vote.
And after that, it's been like cowards and like stooges for other powers.
Mm-hmm. And cucks.
We all know who those guys are. We all know who those powers are. Nothing good.
Literally, that's what women want. Women want betas and cucks, like for their daddy government. You know what I mean?
Well, they think they want that. That's the thing. It's like it's a giant shit test.
We're blaming women.
It's a giant shit test. It's a giant, like we've said that a million times before. But the whole thing is a giant shit test. The whole thing is like, oh yeah, well guess what? I want a little cut for president. That's what they get, and they complain about the world after that.
I think Californians coming to Texas.
What was that, buddy? Sorry, I cut you off.
It's like the Californians that come to Texas and like vote for all the shitty policies, then like get mad when the area turns to shit.
Yes, dude. Oh, awful. What were you saying, John?
What?
Are you familiar with California at all?
I live in California.
Okay, so like maybe you could answer like, so what's really going on with the homeless thing over there?
It's fucking awful. Just like a couple weeks ago, I had a homeless person shoot up on my church property.
No way.
Yeah.
You think that's bad? We've had Santeros, which is like voodoo mysticism stuff. People throw dead goats on the front of our church here.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's okay because they bring good food.
Well, I think we all kind of know that this is kind of this is kind of our critique on multiculturalism. Yeah, I mean we're racist just like everybody else is racist. Even liberals are racist. But like the real thing is that multiculturalism is just It's a code word for just horrible caste systems of low, impoverished people that live in squalor, so that the elite can live luxuriously in the managerial class, the upper class. Which, when I say upper class, people, you got to understand, upper class to me is people who make $500,000 to $2 million a year. Upper class people are already millionaires. All right, this is for real. This is for real. Like, if you're out there making $70,000 a year, like, you're not middle class, dude. You know what I mean? You're not even entry level middle class. You know, as far as I'm concerned, you're just a working person. If you're making $100,000 a year, you're trying to enter middle class, and it's going to be impossible. But either way, like this managerial class, which is all the white liberals, those are just the toadies for the elites, and they're gonna make sure all this, this gobbledygook, multiculturalism, and all this other stuff goes through. You know what I mean? Like, and the whole idea is it's just like, what is that movie? That sci-fi movie with Matt Damon?
Matt Damon, which one? Oh, the one where he has the universal healthcare propaganda movie.
It's like it's the future, and everybody's just basically, and there's another planet where all the rich people live.
Yeah. Elysium.
Yeah, Elysium. Yeah, that's to me that's obviously the future that they want. That's what multiculturalism is all about. I don't care. It's all about lowering wages. It really is. And anybody that says that these fucking people care about asylum or care about poverty or any of that crap, it's just nonsense.
Lies.
It really is.
Like, if you think that's what it's about, you're being hoodwinked, man. You gotta fine tune your bullshit detector. But you know what's funny? As far as the animal sacrifice thing goes, my priest had a great take on it. Was like, you know what? We find it shocking now, that sort of thing. But like before Christ, that was the normal religious expression, just constant slaughter all the time. Like, that's what the entire world was. Back when I had a townhouse over out pretty far west of Miami. 2 years ago, and I was riding my bike in the area. No, I was walking the dog, and dude, his house had a plate in front of it. On the plate was a goat's head, and it was covered in beads. It was the freakiest thing I've seen in my life. I'm going to take a photo of it, but like, man, like,
was
that's
this in Florida?
Yes, it's Florida, man.
Wow.
This is the Santeria.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, practice Santeria. But there was one time back when I worked for DirecTV, I did an install at some Santero's house, and it was a gay couple. And the entire freaking roof, because I was up on the roof putting the dish up there, the entire roof is covered in chicken bones, and I don't mean from KFC, man.
There was I got this book about let me go grab it.
Okay, someone asking if that's a Haitian practice. It comes from a lot of different traditions in the Caribbean. Haitian is definitely a main strain of it. But there's a lot of Cuban, like Santeria it's called Santeria because it's infused with saints. There's a lot of like false saint veneration. Like, they're like, oh, you have to pray to this, you have to sacrifice a chicken to this saint. So it's basically a bunch of demons LARPing as saints. They're just like, hey, it's me, Saint Joseph. I need 3 chickens, or else I'm not gonna fulfill your wishes. It's just like this like it'll be more hilarious if it wasn't so extremely demonic. But it's still it's absurd. It's like, yeah, you remember that last sacrifice that Christ did? It turns out we need a lot more chicken blood. This wasn't enough. The blood of the Son of God himself. We just need a bunch of chicken blood to fill your random whims, wishes, and curses. Because that's what saints do is curse other people who get in your way. Right? It's ridiculous, but that's the stuff they believe. It's stuff that's all around Miami all the time.
Okay, I got this book. It's The Apostle of Zaire, The Life and Legacy of Blessed Father Cosmas of Gregorio. And it's got like this entire like 20-page section and it's entirely just like demonic, like witchcraft and stuff like that happens in Zaire. Like there's still like sorcerers everywhere in Zaire.
Yeah, dude.
Like I forgot the exact thing, but like there are these people. They were walking around with this coffin. Like 4 people were running around with a coffin, and they were saying like, we got to find the witch who cursed this child. And they're all running around. They're running around like the point of exhaustion, carrying this coffin. And then the priest goes up and is like, what are they doing? And he's like, the father got another witch to find the witch who killed his kid. And when the coffin leads him to the person, they're going to kill the person. So these people ran around with the coffin for like 5 hours. And finally, they just chucked this coffin at some random lady, and the lady died. And it's like that a lot there. Like,
yeah, there's a girl I used to know. She was one of my old D&D groups. She was this girl who had a long time ago had done volunteer work for some humanitarian organization in what's called the witch colony in Africa. Basically, women who've been accused of witchcraft and ousted from the villages. And usually, it's always just nonsense. These aren't witches. It's just like, like at the worst, they're very opinionated women. But sometimes it's just like random women who like so. Like there was one woman who came back after a trip, and they're like, "Oh, they accuse her. They accuse her of being a ghost." And they're like, "Oh, you're a ghost. You died 2 months ago." And they're like, "No, I didn't. I went out of town." And they're like, "No, you're a ghost. You're a demon ghost." She's like, "No, I can't be demon ghost because demon ghosts have their feet backwards on their legs." And they're like, "Well, obviously you're hiding your real feet. So get out of this town or we're going to burn you to death." So her entire life, her house is there. She has to leave it. Can't even get her stuff. So she had nowhere to live. She had to go to this witch's colony.
you're a demon
Wild
ghost.
stuff, man. Wild stuff.
Jeez.
But yeah, it's a really good book. This book, I only read the thing on witchcraft, but it's about this like guy who converted like hundreds of people over in Zaire. But they got all these crazy stories about like how he was talking to like child sorcerers and like people who were like, there was this one guy who like killed someone and buried his body underneath his house for good luck and money and stuff like that. And
Jeez.
I could be remembering it wrong, but it's like insane crap like that.
Yeah. This is pure demonry, man.
That's really kind of the messed up thing, is like every single country that's still under idolatry is like the most messed up. Like you look at India and how they're like worshiping like deformed cows as gods. It's like a modern day like Old Testament, like with how all the weird.
But guys, if we go back to paganism, everything, our problems will vanish, bro.
Yeah.
We'll get Christianity, and we'll go back to our pagan roots. We burned random people for slighting us. We got some comments here. Just to ask you guys, what's up, Skyhook? Just to ask you guys, seeing how the current state of capitalism is, do you guys have growing anti-capitalism sentiments? Yeah, I think we've always had maybe not pure anti-capitalism, but certainly counter-capitalist sentiments.
Yeah,
I think economics is gay.
Gay.
We don't need it.
I think that economics is more of this kind. It's more utopianism. We're just more Western utopianism. Like these ideas of these markets, they're always put in these vacuums, and you know what I mean. Like you can do laissez-faire or something like that. It's like, no, that's not really how these work. Like everybody knows that, like economics is going to have a lot of government interference no matter what, and they're going to have a lot of grease palms, and there's going to be backdoor deals. Like that all these things are going to be intertwined. You know what I mean? Like the idea that we have an idea of like a free market, that's just insane. You know, it's like one thing I say about like, you know, you could say about like the idea of communism or fascism is the idea that they realize that, and that's obvious to them, is that like the markets will always either be, you know, the government and the people will always be subject to the markets, or the markets will be subject to the people and the governments, or the state in some form or fashion, and so like I think that we always kind of came back to is that the market should have its kind of their rightful place should be in that kind of a service area. They shouldn't be like I really feel like in the United States the markets are the shadow government itself is what's really in control. The corporations are what's always been in control.
And it's been a leftist talking point forever, but not so much anymore since corporations became, full agents of, the freaking Antichrist regime. So,
yeah, I'd agree with that.
As long as woke capital is pushing the whatever garbage line the left wants them to push, they won't complain anymore. So whatever.
I don't know how true it is, but I know that one of the kind of the biggest memes from traditionalists is that the aristocracy always kind of kept the merchant class and the markets in check because it was considered kind of their duty, and it was also kind of taboo to be involved with the markets and be an aristocracy. So it was like they were constantly subjecting the merchants to taxes to try to keep them in check, and then kind of blowing, using that money to do their military campaigns or build their castles and things like that.
Yeah.
And because of that,
one of the major themes. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, yeah, you go ahead because like I said, I don't really know too much about it, but that's what I always heard. That was really interesting. Made sense to me.
Yeah. I'm trying to get Cesar on here. Cesar is the artist that we're working with to put our comic here.
Oh.
Which I'm just gonna. I've been trying to divide the content streams, the comic and this, a little bit. But whatever, The well, he's traveling right now, so he can't get on. But I'm gonna send the link in case we're still on. By the time he gets home, we'll get him on there. But that's gonna be one of the well, not major, but definitely a predominant theme in the comic we're working on. It's going to be called Terror, the Girl from Earth. I may have mentioned a couple times. I mentioned it on Twitter for sure. I mentioned on a live stream that I later on went unlisted with. I thought it was too early to start talking about it. At this point, we're working on pages. Most of our character designs are done, so we have a pretty good look on the look, the pretty good idea on the look and feel of this whole thing. It'll be cool once it's put together. But basically, well, I don't want to give too much of the plot away, but it's kind of like a Narnia kind of story where, a person from our world gets transported to a magical fantasy world. Except it's like think of like Middle Earth after like a 300 years of Blade Runner levels of cultural degeneration.
Right.
So one of the things that happens is, what?
It's an isekai. It's like the anime. Define it.
Isekai.
It's the genre of anime where they wake up in another world.
Oh yeah.
I was making a shitty weeb joke. Sorry.
I mean, it's a common theme in a lot of anime and not just anime, but I guess just even American fantasy. It's always been a common theme, even from Wizard of Oz. So it's like always a good way to make social commentary. But Terra is going to run for 20 years. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I could have one reader and we'll still keep running this thing. Thoughts on evolution? Asks a mongoose man.
Evolution is gay.
Hey, listen. If your entire theory can be thrown off its timeline for like 7 million years because you found a tooth in the cave, it's not a good theory, bro. It's not a good theory. I'm sorry. And if your entire theory rests on death being the main mechanism by which God brought about creation, it's not a good theory. Maybe you think it's empirically sound, but you know what? The thing about science is it's ever shifting. It's not a good foundation. Just by definition, it's sand.
Yeah.
Evolution real. TV said so.
Yeah.
I think that there also go along with that is that there's a metaphysics for survival that people are trying to toss out. And again, it goes back to this thing that for some reason that scientists now, I think it was it Neil deGrasse Tyson that finally said it, was that there's like basically no room for philosophy and science or something
Yeah.
ridiculous like that. When
That was also said by Neil deGrasse Tyson, not Neil deGrasse. What's his name? Stephen Hawking. That philosophy is dead. We don't need it anymore. We just draw everything.
Stephen Hawking's dead. We don't need him anymore.
Yeah. Guess what? Guess what,
Oh.
basic simple man?
and
C3PO.
And as Jay Dyer says, there's a philosophy of everything. There's a philosophy of science. I mean, everything has its worldview, and if you go through it without a really understanding that, then you can take a lot of these things for granted. But that problem is that's the same thing that propaganda is. Propaganda is the idea that we are going to give you an assumption, and if you question that assumption, then automatically you're creating your own kind of crime, or you're stupid, or you know what I mean, like you don't get it or something like that. But what we're saying is that yes, there is a metaphysics to survival. So what makes something want to survive? Because that's what they always say is like, well, it transformed itself because it wanted to survive. Well, what makes life so good? I mean, obviously life's full of suffering, and it's dog eat dog. It's very cruel, especially in the evolutionary sense. So why in the hell would something want to survive? Like there is something very metaphysical about wanting to survive. Now that might be hard for people to understand or comprehend because it's just so innate and it's just instinct. Well, that doesn't help. All you're just doing is just pushing the field goal back even further.
Yeah.
So then, what is the instinct? So you're talking about something that is orderly and it has some kind of a function. It's like you always hear this, like this. It's just orbits or it's just energy, and like you don't understand. Like these stupid
It's
people from the
gravitons.
past. Yeah. It's like, well, no, you're just describing a whole new mystery. You're just using a word for another mystery that you don't understand. It's just like that great meme that has the hipster that goes back to like the ancient days. He's like, there's this thing called electricity, and the people are like, oh, what? How does it work? He's like, I don't know. It's like whenever people say, oh, it's just energy, or it's just instinct. It's like, well, what the hell is that? Well, I don't know, but it is that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for all atheists talk about the God the gaps fallacy, which is not a fallacy. They don't understand what we're talking about when we talk about God. For all their talk about that, there's just as much of a science as the gaps. Like, okay, we know this, but eventually science is going to figure it out. Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Maybe you're the presuppositions you're working off of is only going to lead you to us. If you're working off the conclusion that starting from nothing is the best starting point, that's the metaphysics that you're starting with, is that it's nothing.
Yeah. So what do you think you're going to come
retarded because
to?
I'm like, it's the end of the night here. I'm 10 o'clock and I'm like halfway into a bottle of wine here. But
you're exactly right. Like if you're saying that the base of the foundation is nothing, where do you think everything is going to return to? No matter what comes up, whether it be morality, whether it become life itself, it's always going to be this nihilistic nothingness.
The foundation for God, the foundation for Christianity is that there's an order to the universe that started everything. That's Logos, that's God. And that the universe starts with a divine mind. The triune God there in the world already. He has relations, he has love, within the Trinity. So it already starts with these basic assumptions that are already in the universe. And what the scientism assumptions are is that no, actually the starting point is nothing, 0 point nihilism. Well, then that's all you're going to get out of that system.
So I think essentially to kind of sum up what me and Rick are saying is that evolution itself, from our point of view, is a religion. It is a spiritual experience. It is a worldview of how you make sense and order of the world, and you do have your religious elements within within evolution. It's just like almost any other religion. You even have your what you'd call like what the Native Americans had totems, right? So they had where you have a totem pole, it'd have a hawk on there and a wolf, and every family would say, "Well, I'm part of this tribe. We come from the wolf," And so, even the Celtic tribes, we come from the boar, and we have these symbols out there. Well, if you're an evolutionist, your symbol is the monkey. And of course, that would make total sense to you because that's all a human being is to you. It's just, what is it, a monkey? It's a tool user. It procreates, it eats, it sleeps, and it entertains itself.
Rapes.
It entertains itself. And so you look at your modern, kind of hipster, liberal, atheist person, and what is he doing? He's a tool collector. He plays with himself. He
is a tool.
And he's obsessed with technology and leisurely time. And that's I mean, so the monkey thing is the totem of the whole thing. And so of course that's what you want. So I mean, so of course you're gonna make a religion. You're gonna grab a hold of religion to try to justify those means. That nothing you do really matters. You have no real power or control over the world. It all comes back to nothingness anyhow.
You and me,
All these things
baby,
make
ain't
sense.
nothing but mammals.
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
do it like you do on the Discovery Channel.
So it's all worldviews, you know what I mean?
It's
And
probably
like,
the greatest. That's not probably the greatest expression of the evolutionary metaphysic that's ever been written. That one
Darwinist
song,
art.
pure Darwinist art, basically a monkey, the philosophy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
So in
it's
closing, evolution is good.
Yeah.
David says, real life is an isekai where you wake up in a worse world than the night before. Good. As far as Stephen Hawking goes, Flawed Intellect says, good riddance to that wheelchair pedal monkey. Jeez. Yeah, you know what?
I think
That's
it's really
true.
great how like one
Man,
like the last.
That's true. Stephen Hawking was on Epstein's Island.
Oh, was he?
Yes. Yes, he's on the flight logs.
Creepy.
Yeah.
How did he even do it?
He probably just watches.
Did he
at that
watch?
point, man.
Well,
Probably
I
just
mean,
watches.
wasn't he already like in that weird paraplegic state? I don't even know what the hell he had, but wasn't he already in that state when he divorced his
Yeah.
really faithful wife?
It's probably all mental at that. Like once you came with your body, it's just like a mental get off. You just want to watch it,
God, that's so weird.
What a mercy. Yeah. That's your elites, guys.
Did you guys Dr. E. Michael Jones has just been tearing it up on Twitter, and he's been hitting a bunch of shows.
His son's helping him on Twitter for sure. I know because there's no way that
Okay.
this guy that old is that fluent in navigating social
Well,
media.
good God, no offense to his son, but his son must be 50, 55 years old. I mean, God, E. Michael Jones is like 75 years old.
Yeah, he's way old, man. So definitely has someone help. But you know what? It's good. His content's great as far as most of it goes. I mean, obviously, as Orthodox, who would disagree on his views of the Catholic Church, but that's a small grab compared to the greatness of his general content.
Oh yeah, completely. He was on Strike and Mike recently, and I was able to watch some of it, which was really interesting because they're going to come from pretty much materialistic point of views. You know what I mean? And but it was, and that's what made it kind of interesting because they were very respectful, and they didn't really get near any of that kind of stuff, or they didn't really engage. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you watch like people like Jim Goad.
Wasn't as bad as the Spencer one. Yeah, the Spencer and Goad one where they're just
just being child, just
he's like that's idolatry, and Spencer's like, why is idolatry bad? Like, oh, that's a good question, Spencer. Why are lies bad?
Yeah,
like isn't Jim Goad that like super like fedora guy?
Yeah, he's pretty atheist. I mean,
yeah, he showed up in like this tacky ass like clown suit as if he's like some George Carlin '90s thing, totally owning the stuck-up Christians. Like,
Who's that one guy? Like the running joke is like he killed his wife.
That's Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt. Yeah. He was hanging out with Jim Goad like a couple years ago.
Oh yeah.
Like it's on Twitter. He was hanging out with Nick Bogus and the A White Man guy.
Wow.
And Jim Goad.
Wild.
It's the tweet's still up on his Twitter.
Wow. Damn.
Just look up like Patton Oswalt, Nick Bogus.
Before the SCW zeitgeist, I guess. What do you
Yeah,
think,
this
Sean?
was like 2012, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember back in the early '90s, back before all this stuff became really, really politicized. You could really dance in political incorrectness and still be, uh, you know, you could still be a liberal and be in the part of these communities. Like, Gavin McGinnis was always Gavin McGinnis, and then the world kind of turned on him. Like Patrice O'Neill before he died. I mean, he was regulated at Fox News. I mean.
Yeah.
Bill Burr is kind of similar in a way. I don't know how Bill Burr's been able to escape it. So maybe because he has a black wife.
He has a black wife. That's how he's able to escape.
But you look
That's
at
not gonna last for long.
Opie and Anthony were completely destroyed. I mean, there's a time back when I was younger that you could be politically correct, be politically incorrect, and be a punk still. Like that was possible. You could do that. And Goad was one of those guys that was like, and that's what I'll say about Goad is like, I've always kind of defended Goad as like he's never said he's right wing. He's never said that he's religious. Like he's somewhat of a racial realist, but he's not a white nationalist. He's not a white supremacist at all.
Yeah.
He's a boomer materialist, empirical materialist, and But I will say this: he's dedicated objectivity, and he always stands by what he is. Like he's never hypocritical. Like he's always going to be that guy. But I will say that like what they did to E. Michael Jones is just horrible because like let's say that we had Steve Saylor on. We're not going to sit there and berate and make fun of Steve Saylor for being a gay materialist empiricist. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to do that. We have respect for our elders. We have respect for people in the movement that have been around for years and taken this torturous abuse that we only know a percentage of. It's like even a small part of. You know, I mean, so it's like, that was just completely disgusting. Like, I mean, you're going to have people on your podcast or you're going to have these so-called debates. Let's try to be mature about it and like be respectful for the old people that are in the in our area, not necessarily in the movement, but in our area, and that's unfair. But Strike and Mike were actually very decent, very nice. They had a really cordial, good conversation with E. Michael Jones, and of course, E. Michael Jones, he's going to rule the podcast or the show. You know what I mean? It's going to turn into his show.
Yeah, he's in that old man mode where he just wants to ramble, and you just got to let him.
Yeah, well, the best ones to watch is the E. Michael Jones on the what is it called, the Israel Times or the Today in Israel or with the other guy, and he always just like gets really
steamrolls that poor dude,
and he just gets tired of him because the guy's kind of knows what he's talking about, kind of doesn't. He's kind of awkward, and so E. Michael Jones
once in a while he tries to take a conversation elsewhere, and Michael was like, "Yeah, I'm not talking about that right now, man. I'm talking about something else completely different." Anyway, back what I was talking about.
It's like a Walter and Donnie like relationship with those two. And we're talking about Big Lebowski on this. It's like if you've seen it, it's like Walter and Donnie. That's how it turns into with these guys. But either way, like E. Michael Jones said something on the podcast that I found really fascinating. I didn't know about this, but apparently Kinsley, who was IU, what's his name, Alfred Kinsey, that was. He did all the sex stuff at Indiana University back in the 50s.
Wasn't Kinsey a pedophile, or was that someone else?
Yeah, extreme pedophile.
Extreme pedophile. He's a homosexual. Right.
Speaking of pedophiles, cousin Skeeter here on our chat says, reminder that Jim Goad got an underage black boy to blow him and brags about it in his book.
Creepy.
I'm gonna need to see those pages, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some proof on that one. But either way, like real quick,
please DM me those on Twitter.
What he said was that Kinsey, before he let reporters interview him, he had to interview the reporter about his sex life. And so,
give me all the dirt in your life, and then I'll let you talk to me, so you make sure to give me glowing reviews.
Yeah, exactly, because that he's not gonna let him put anything out damning when he knows that you screwed your fucking your cousin, your mentally retarded cousin, when you were 11 years old. Like you're not gonna, what I mean? Like you're not gonna. It's just totally. But it's like I never knew that, but that totally makes sense.
The outright lie that movie based on Kinsey was. It's like if you know the real story before or after you watch it, you're just astounded to the depths these scumbags will sink to. Because okay, those of you guys who don't know, maybe only know tangentially. There was a dude that Kinsey worked with who's a child molester who recorded in detail his molestations. And in the movie, this guy appears and he's all like, talks about all this stuff. And Kinsey's like, I would never do such a thing. and the scene just ends that way. But that's not true. The dude worked with Kinsey. They were friends. Pictures of them laughing, slapping each other's backs together. And Kinsey took all his data, and he's like, "Yeah, I think he's an outstanding dude. This guy. Thanks for all the data, bro." Look at a fucking pedophile, man. Like, and this and the that prison experiment that we were talking about the other day, guys. You know the famous one.
The Stanford prison experiment.
It's true what Jones says, man, that psychology is a Jewish science. Like, so much of the modern psyche is made up of these psychological concepts that were either lies or just outright frauds made by pedophiles, like or freakish people like want to fuck their sisters. Like, the modern psyche is filters itself through these concepts, and they're just wrong. They're not true. They're just
they're all debunked.
And they're worse than debunked and wrong. They're evil. Yeah. They're made to corrupt people.
It doesn't matter if they're debunked; it's still in the public psyche. That's the worst part about it.
That's a problem. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. The Stanford prison experiment is now debunked when it shreds. We know the whole thing's fake, but it's already been so long.
And it's still taught in schools.
It's baked in the public psyche at this point. The whole purpose of it was to introduce suspicion into the concept of authority. So make everyone a revolutionary.
Yeah, and it's all baked into policy too. It's like I was talking to somebody the other day about the first Supreme Court act that basically desegregated schools. And of course, the common thing is that black schools were worse than white schools, but that was the whole thing about Topeka, Kansas, where this whole thing came from. Was it even says that both the schools were exactly the same. What it came down to was two black sociologists. They were husband and wife, and they had a laboratory experiment where they took black girls. And they put dolls around them, and the black girls went to the white dolls, and that's what they picked. And from their argument is that black kids learned better with white kids around them. That was the whole basic thing about their whole. That's why they used that study to desegregate schools, to integrate schools, and that was debunked 5-10 years later. They showed that was not true. That's not what was going on whatsoever. And but that's still why. I mean, it's still in the paper. And basically, you think about the implications of that is that basically it's what the federal government said, what the Supreme Court said was that white kids are just basically a school supply for black kids. Like, they're a device that they can learn better. They're no better than a pencil or a piece of paper. Like that's what they are, and that's still in the books. And but I mean, you can never question that because you would just be absolutely called out as being a complete racist. I don't know about the abortion things, but I would be surprised there's a bunch of junk science in that.
Same thing. Yes. Funny. I was about to say that, dude, because the Roe versus Wade decision was also based on junk science. It's the reason that feminists keep saying clump of cells, even though we know now in scientific terminology, in scientific exactness, what the development of a fetus is like. You know, unfortunately, in part because of abortions, that we know that it's not a clump of cells. It's a clump of cells. Maybe like even the first couple of weeks, but even beyond that, there's a structure from the beginning. So but at the time, people didn't know this. People think that we had the scientific knowledge that we have now. We had it back then. We didn't. People thought it was literally an amorphous mass of cells for the first few months. This is what people thought. It wasn't. It's not true.
Right. But I mean, the classic
the people who decided Roe versus Wade, that's what they said. That's what they and that's on the record as well. In the Supreme Court, what they made a decision largely on that scientific testimony, but that's wrong.
Yeah, the classic answer always to the clump of cell thing is that we're all clumps of cells.
Yeah. I think we're all clumps of cells. Exactly.
I mean, I guess clumps kind of is kind of relative. I guess you might want to think of a clump as a big pile of something, but to me, you're just a clump. We're all just clumps of cells.
That who was that that female comedian who had that terrible show on Netflix where she did like a skit about cheerleading abortions, and the show got like
Samantha Bee or whatever.
No, the it was a brown girl. And then like no one watched the show, so they took it off of Netflix for like a couple weeks. And some priest commented on the post about it on Twitter. He's like, "Well, it wasn't really a show. It was just like a mass of lights and sounds."
Man, I recently subscribed to Sam Hyde's new cigars and soda thing.
Oh yeah,
it's $5 a month, dude. I was like, I could throw him $5 a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty good, dude. It is pretty good. His computer stuff's really good. What he does with that. But one of the things he was talking about was like how Netflix is not putting out the entertainment that people thought it was going to put out. Either is Hulu. And basically his whole thing was like he just goes on a rant about technology and how like no one ever stops to think is that maybe we're at peak technology right now. Maybe this is as good as it gets. Like everything they bring out is just the lamest, most horrible thing ever. It's like, you know, we're going to we're gonna come in, we're gonna harvest all of your emails, and we're gonna put those on, through a filter, and then we're gonna put them all on tabletop. And then when we get that all done, you're going to be able to voice control open your trunk of your car.
The Internet of Things, guys. You can turn lights, which is from 10 miles away, 1,000 miles away across the world. You can turn your lights.
Dude, I got a smart fridge.
I got a smart laundry machine, bro. A smart dryer. I can dry things when I'm not even at home. Nothing even in the dryer, but damn it, they'll be dry.
It's always funny, like Twitter went down for like 5 hours and everyone started freaking out. Oh, you don't know, it wasn't Twitter, it was Instagram. Like Instagram went down for like 5 hours and everyone just immediately like switched on to Twitter to start complaining about it.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, seriously, like I thought when Twitter first came out, you know, years ago, and I even thought like 10 years ago, I thought, well, something soon is going to come along. Pretty soon it's going to replace Twitter, and Twitter's going to be like dumb. You know what I mean? Like, and that never happened. It doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. I think he's right.
Twitter is shit. Like,
yeah. And I mean, yeah, but it's like the best of the shit that we have out there.
Yeah.
It's like Netflix or Hulu. It's the best of the shit that we have out there.
It's it's the thing. It's like once you get into that market, you can't really fail. Like you look at YouTube, like for the past like 7 years or something, people have been complaining about how they're running YouTube. Like, and then like no, there's alternative sites, but like no one uses them. Like,
they get shut down by YouTube.
Yeah, they get shut down by YouTube.
Guys. I mean, BitChute is great, but everyone knows it's only great as an alternative to YouTube. I have the app; it's not as functional as a YouTube app. Right. Okay, YouTube app up in the search bar. Search bar is already out there. I don't have to scroll up to find search bar. First of all. And the search function is you just click it. But for BitChute, I have to click a different button to find the search function. Why do I have to do that? You have to hunt down the search function. It should be a default thing like your freaking site. That's the thing about like these alternative sites. I'm sorry, they're just not as freaking functional as these like super Zog crowded funds. I mean, that's sad. Because you don't want to depend on these freaking goddamn communication infrastructures because they're completely freaking co-opted and controlled. So we're kind of just living like freaking zombie stop publishers in the middle of the Soviet Union right now. You know, just the day is gonna come when we're deplatformed on here.
Eventually. I mean, I can totally bitch about this because I get the same thing. It's like I'll go to like Amazon Prime on my smart TV, and it is the junkiest, crappiest crap on earth. It's like, can't you take one fucking page from Netflix on anything? Like, give me a bio of something when I go across it. Don't just give me the picture of it. I want to know. No, I got to click on it. And then you go like
from where?
On Amazon.
I'm actually Netflix is all right, but it pisses me off because like you know how like once you finish a show, it immediately like, hey, watch this show.
Yeah, it's like I'm not gonna. No,
I did that, and it ruined the. I was watching Death Note with someone, and it ruined the ending because you know like. Spoilers, if you haven't watched Death Note, you're gay. But like the very end, like you know, like Light is dying at the stairs.
Yeah.
It's like that with all the music, and then like I get this like 90% of the screen is an advertisement for this like shitty Netflix anime.
Oh my
like
God.
it was awful.
And that's all they're doing. All it is an advertisement. They can't really recommend too much to you because they stopped letting you, rate things a long time ago because it was unfair, and it was, and people were pissed off about it, and also because all their crappy Netflix programming was horrible, and everybody kept on, shitting on it, so they just stopped all of the rating program. Well, how the hell are you going to know what I like or don't like? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you don't let me rate it, because I can watch 5 or 10 minutes of a show, and Netflix thinks that because I turned it off and said that's the biggest piece of crap in the world, that I loved it, and that I should watch 3 other shows just like that. It's like, no, not really at all. Like, I don't. That's exactly the opposite of what I want to do.
There's
So
always
yeah, it's just.
there's always some poison eventually in the Netflix programming. I started watching this one show because Rome Pics on Twitter, the lady who posts all the great pictures of Rome.
Oh yeah.
Her husband
Yeah.
died I think it's been a couple of years now. It's very sad. I've spoken to her about it personally, especially since Gus passed. That we both were talking about grief. There's this one show. Damn, what the hell's it called now? Where this lady's husband dies in a car accident, but he gets killed by a car or something like that, right? And so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch the show. She said it was good, and I'm watching it. I'm like 5 episodes, like 2 episodes in. There's like this edgy atheist garbage about like, oh my god, it's a cross on the side of the road. I'm so mad about it. It's like I can't watch at that point. I'm not gonna watch this garbage. And the worst thing is, recently, and everyone's been talking about this, at least for the first day it came out, and everyone decided en masse to not watch it. And I haven't watched it either. The Last Tsars or something. It's a show about the royal family. The Saint Nicholas and his son.
And it's blasphemous, like every other show about them.
Extreme blasphemy. It's all based on propaganda. The worst thing about the Tsars is that they had their history written exclusively by their enemies for like 100 years at least.
Yeah.
So
Right.
So almost everything we know about them is complete garbage propaganda. Especially about Rasputin, sadly. I mean, I'm not going to say Rasputin was perfect. There's plenty of people who will make the case, a good case, that he wasn't the best guy.
There's a lot of saints that liked him.
Yeah, but he wasn't like the cartoonish monster.
I know.
A lot of that was British propaganda.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem with a lot of things. I mean,
same people are like, oh, Freemasons are bad, and then like, oh, Rasputin is bad, and you find out like, wait, the people that killed Rasputin were a bunch of Freemasonic queers.
Yeah,
like literal queers.
Mr. Gay guys, sorry.
Yeah, it was it was mostly Jewish Bolsheviks that took the whole entire royal family out and raped them and executed them.
Yeah.
And it's and I mean, I hate to even bring this up, but it's like anything with Germany. I don't care if it's World War I or it's like I said this for years. There is no objective Hitler, and I don't want to hear your crap. Like if you're out there saying, "Oh, I hate Hitler," you don't know who Hitler was. No one will ever know who Hitler was. No one will ever, because either you get the really far crazy revisionist Hitler, or you get you get the basic,
Saturday morning cartoon Hitler.
Or you get like Hitler personally killed my puppy, or Hitler personally Hitler was the new Charlemagne or something. Like
there's no in between. There's absolutely no in between, and so just give up on that. But don't give me that crap about you know who Hitler is. And that's another thing that drives me crazy too. And I know why we don't. I know exactly why we don't, but it just drives me nuts.
You're right. It's true. Like, and that's all I've ever wanted is like an honest assessment of Hitler, an honest assessment of the National Socialist movement. Not either like the like, oh my God, Paradise Lost, guys, a single tear at my peak. Or the people who's like, oh look, fucking Skeletor decided to take over the world one day for no reason.
You know what I'd like? You know what? Seriously, Rick. You know what I'd like? I would just like to have one kind of objective story, just about one like Nazi unit that has nothing to do with political. Just their kind of their day-to-day suffering in their life, and maybe they win a battle.
You know, it's really funny.
A little bit of a Saving Private Ryan for the Nazis. It doesn't have to be them about Jews or anything like that. Just them and a company just trying to survive. You don't have to make them heroes. You just make a fucking movie about the Nazis that were they're not booting Jews to death in ditches. You know what I mean? They're not total fucking monsters.
He wakes up and then he immediately kills like 5 Jewish babies, and then
or some Tarantino-esque thing where you have a guy beating him to death with a baseball bat. That's great.
And then he calls him a nigger.
Guys, look, there's a great. It's funny that you mentioned this because when I first started talking to Cesar, the artist I'm working with, who hopefully will be on, I don't know, he's still crossing the border right now. He straight up said, "Okay, I pitched 3 projects to him. One was like a courtroom drama style telling of the Council of Nicaea, which would have
Someone's gonna steal that now.
Santa. No, I like playing to it. If you do, I'll drive to your house and beat you up. Which would have Saint Athanasius as the main character, right? And it'd just be about the Council of Nicaea, but a courtroom style drama where they're retelling the story of Christ. And they have Arius and his cohorts like the enemies. It'll be great. It'll be all the amazing stories in the lives of saints of that time, like all happening in time. We have all the Arians expecting Saint Anthony to roll up and defend them. He said he rolls up and just denounces them. All these great moments, and just have that in one story. It would look in a comic. It would look awesome. Second concept was a Terra the Girl from Earth concept. The third concept, which is what you're talking about, Sean, was at the time I pitched it, Stranger Things hadn't been out yet, right? So at the time I was referencing like Goonies or Super 8, but if I was pitching it right now to somebody, I would pitch it. Imagine Stranger Things, except they're all Hitler Youth.
That's kind of awesome.
It's like the Hardy Boys.
Stranger Things actually all right.
It's all right.
All right.
It's
like most things, the first season's good, and then it's
yeah. Second season's whack. I hear the third season's good. I'm only a little bit into it, but here's the thing. It would be like Hardy Boys, or like Stranger Things, or Super 8. Like a game of kids, in like right as Hitler's getting elected. 33.
There's already tons of stuff like that, but it's like
people are still coming in, like Nazis are still coming into power. Things are still kind of coming out of depression. It's always a lot of squalor, a lot of corruption. I had the whole plot right now. I think I have a notebook literally on this desk somewhere where I had the plot right now and the characters thought out. Yes, I do have it. This is notebook where I have the concepts right now. If anyone ever wants to learn their talent as an artist, it was going to be called Jungvolk. Obviously, young folk is what called the Hitler Youth. What the story about the Hitler Youth was that there was a lot of German youth movements that were all wrestled together under the umbrella of the Hitler Youth. So you have kind of these kids coming from different nascent youth movements. Some are more like street activists. Some are like hiking. It's really fascinating the different youth groups that existed in Germany at the time and how they were all kind of put in this giant umbrella called the Hitler Youth. So it was going to be a sort of them like cracking these cases that the adults didn't want to take too seriously, and they will uncover all kinds of crazy stuff. And it'll be like 2 or 3 stories like this, and there would be like a 10-year time skip to the end of the war when they're all adults and Germany's like in ruins, about to be taken over by the Soviets, and they all kind of like find each other again. They're all adults and they have to kind of like band together to defend this farm. Oh man, what a great story that would have been. Maybe one day I'll tell it and get like thrown out everywhere I ever go into ever again.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many creative things you can do with these, but they challenge. I mean, it's so strange to think something like that would challenge the narrative so much. They'd be so scared of that. You know what I mean? That might catch like the some kind of popular imagination where people will be able to think outside the box. It's just maddening to me. It's like, really, we can't just do. I mean, you get on Netflix and there's literally thousands of documentaries and movies about the Holocaust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't have one movie that might just tell the story of poor kids coming up in Nazi Germany with that could actually make them somewhat interesting, intriguing figures. You know what I mean?
Like,
actual
people understand the era. It's like you have to understand these people were. Everyone went to war against everyone else in World War I, and Germany was unfairly singled out as some sort of unique aggressor when everyone was doing the same shit they were doing. Okay,
right. And
they had to sign this shameful treaty. And you see how shameful this treaty was. The Treaty of Versailles. That when Hitler took over all those parts of Europe, he had them basically unsign the treaty in the same train car they signed it in, and he burned that train car. That's that's some animosity to a national betrayal that, like, if you were in their shoes, you would do the same thing.
Yeah, right.
Okay, don't think that you're above these people.
Yeah,
Don't
I mean,
don't hold that arrogance. You know.
yeah, I do. I think that's what makes us like more historians than most people is that we can kind of put ourselves in their shoes and just be, you know, just more objective. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like there's just more compassion involved with that. Like, I can't. I'm just like I'm with you. Like, if I was in that, I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And I
So the
always
story
have.
of Jungvolk, the story that I want to tell for Jungvolk was the end of the that really of the Weimar era, which was like people were living in squalor on one end of town, had prostituting their daughters out, you know, and meanwhile there was a whole bunch of rich people partying up in Berlin and having degenerate sex everywhere. So of course, like, what else is going to rise up in that atmosphere but just like a hardcore kill 'em all right wing movement?
Well,
And
yeah,
that's what
I think one of
happened.
like the funniest things is where you find like Berlin was a hotbed of transsexualism and gays, and then the Nazis came and ruined it. It's
That,
like,
yeah, dude.
yeah,
That
yeah.
thing,
The
that
famous
famous. Go ahead.
the famous book burning. You know, the famous
Yes,
book
that's
burning was
right. I was saying the same words. The Facebook when you all see pictures of the giant book pile. That was the Institute of whatever by that Magnus
Studies.
Hirschfeld dude, which was like it was like a sexual studies department / brothel, you know.
All those books
And
were pro homosexual and how to become transgender, and they were all these anti-family, extremely progressive, perverted books that they were burning out there. You know,
yeah,
they didn't just go into the
they
library and
do-
start grabbing freaking Shakespeare and Plato off the shelves and burning them. I mean, that's what, you know. I mean, that's what liberal America did. Except they didn't burn them; they just made people not want to read them.
yeah, and it was the upper teenage factions of the Hitler Youth who stormed that place and took all those books. So what I was gonna have in the Jungville story, maybe one day I'll tell the story, is like you know, one of the characters, Hans, his older brother is part of that faction that storms the place, and that's how the first arc of the story ends with the burning of those books. And I wanted to bring a reader to the point where they look at it and they understand, if not sympathize, understand why it happened, understand where these people are like fighting for pieces of bread while people are while elites are having like vile degenerate sex and pushing all kinds of vile sex like bizarro sexual propaganda on the populace
sorry, those guys are
in the
mean
middle of
racists. I
depression. It's like,
can't sympathize.
yeah, yeah, actually they're racist, so that's the end of my analysis.
Oh yeah,
And once again,
yeah.
I know the flaws of natural socialism, you know, and I agree with Stephen Rose that in the end these sort of things, these sort of animosities evolve to their own kind of brand of anti-humanism. But I can't live in a world where the only interpretation of this part of history is like this absurd Saturday morning cartoon thing. You know, it's ridiculous. As far as the movie you're talking about, Sean, someone says there's a movie kind of like that. As far as having a sympathetic portrayal of the German soldiers, it's called Into the White. It's Brits and Germans working together to survive the Norwegian snow plains. That sounds pretty.
What's up, guys?
Who's this?
Who's this?
Cesar.
I'm the Mexican labor.
Cesar,
What's
get
up?
your speakers off and put your headphones on because you're
Hola.
getting a small echo here.
I'm on a cell phone. I don't know what to do. Let's see.
Okay, maybe someone else then who has the echo.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Anyway, so yeah, me and Cesar are two spics telling a story about a lesbian who transports to another world and proceeds to mess it up more than it's already messed up, and it's just one giant take on the action female protagonist, which we've all seen in different incarnations. Whenever you see anything about Harley Quinn or the Rey from Last Jedi or any sort of female protagonist that you see now, where it's just like action girl beats everyone up automatically, Yeah, we're basically trying to pull a Watchmen on the SJW era of comic books, and not just comic books, but media in general. Because this thing,
Captain Marvel.
yeah, it's Captain Marvel especially. This thing's not relegated to just the.
Captain Marvel's actually the way we're gonna start. So,
Yeah,
I'm working on that.
We're doing some promo pages, which we'll put out soon.
Yeah, pretty much. By the way, Rick, if something's like a state secret right now, just tell me. Like, don't do this time. Like,
Don't
no,
just don't tell details about the promo pages.
Okay, but I can say in general that it's gonna happen. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. If you want to follow the progress of the comic specifically, I'll probably post stuff on the main Twitter account, Repentant Rick, my account. But the Terry the Girl from Earth account is at All Flame Comics, or is that the previous account? Hold on, fellas and dames.
It is Whole Flame.
Is that because I had one that I lost access to, and I lost. Okay, yeah, it's all at All Flame Comics. That is the current account. I will be pushing most of the stuff through, and for a long time, we thought of doing this like a troll project where we push to one kind of audience to bring them over to I guess the right side of things, kind of like a CF long con where you start with just like, hey, look at all this fucked up stuff, and eventually you kind of say, no, this evil makes sense without God. But screw it, we're just gonna go whole hog out from the gate, you know. If I get dogs, my life ruined, wasn't so great.
It's all right.
Okay. I think at this point there's plenty of people who are willing to support this type of stuff for our lives to not be over if we are doxxed.
I'm putting this out just okay. One more comment about the Weimar era Germany before we get too much into the comic stuff. Ortho Bro says people forget there were literal homosexual youth gangs roaming the countryside, raping and murdering people in Weimar Germany. Miko Touch says what? Ortho Bro says look up the Wild Boys Weimar. Okay, I gotta look this up because that has to be an element.
Yeah, I've read about it. It's crazy.
The Wild Boys of Weimar.
Yeah, they would like literally assault people and rape them.
That sounds really modern.
What?
Like the Wild Boys.
Is that now or what? Is that yesterday?
Yeah, it's an offshoot of the Proud Boys.
Well, I gotta say the Proud Boys have been pretty good. They kind of like.
It's a funny thing. Everyone makes fun of the Proud Boys, but like every time I see them in public, they're like beating up Antifa. They're doing better than all the other gay conferences.
Yeah. They're defending themselves as hard as they can, and they kind of grew past their founder, Gavin McInnes, who was just too soft to run the kind of organization the Proud Boys needed to be.
Oh, so now it's going its own way. Not MGTOW.
He says
MGTOW.
He says
no.
He says
MGTOW,
that he disbanded the Proud Boys, but there's still groups who are repping that name right now. So, whatever.
Yeah, because everything that I associate with Gavin McInnes is
cookery.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All I know about Gavin McGuines is like he like made out with Milo and shoved a dildo up his butt or something.
That's all you need to know.
Why do people like? I was like he had like Sam Hyde on a Lime Street once, and that was like the only time I ever watched him.
I remember Andrew Anglin used to be really into Gavin McInnes, and then he was like, "This faggot."
That's Anglin's entire shtick. It's like, oh, this guy's cool, and then he's like, never mind, he's gay, and then
never mind, NVM, gay.
Yeah.
He's like #1 PewDiePie. I still think that the Daily Stormer was put in a freaking PewDiePie video. That was one of the best things about last year.
Are they still on the Yang Gang?
What?
The Yang Gang.
I don't know. I don't visit the Stormer much. I just remember back when it was really hilarious, and they were like ironically shilling for AOC. Like they had her like doing this, and like and they put a caption, "Ew, get away from me, you dirty kikes."
That's the thing. Like, I don't get how people can like her. Like any type of female politician, it's like they're not even real people. It's like I'm listening to a doll. Like it's like you know what I'm talking about, right? It's like how do these people exist? Are they actually sentient? Like
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a solid boomer talking point, but she's really is just very, very dumb. Very, very dumb. That hilarious questions and Q&A session she had with that dude who like runs a bunch of the detention centers, and he's like, "Yeah, we're doing this so we can save lives. You know, people coming across the border. We're not gonna throw them back to the desert. We need to keep them somewhere." And then she's like, "Asylum seekers are legal." He's like, "Yeah, they go through a port of entry." And this gruff dude, who's a gruff white dude who used to be a cop and he runs these dude. That's the guy we need for president in America. Like gruff, take no shit white dudes who used to be cops.
boy, bro,
that
that's fascism, bro.
That's
been
fascism,
divorced
bro.
20 times.
Divorced 20 times.
Yeah. But that's because they're gruff. That's the reason. Because of their job.
Too gruff for you.
Yeah, with a 4. Wait,
Yeah,
and a
too
U?
gruff for you.
For you, yeah. No, there's this thing. For example, my mother, for some reason, she always like, I think that Merkel woman is fit. Angela Merkel, the one from Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't get how.
She's pretty good, and I'm like, why though? Why do you think she's pretty good? I don't know. She's from Germany. See, when Mexicans think like any first world country, like it's wrong. Well, just automatically because it's a first world country, and it's a Western country. And they're like, oh, Germany. So it looks pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Have you been there?
Yeah. Exactly.
No. Have you seen that the average German? The average age for native German is like 40, 50 something, and the average like immigrant Muslim age is like 9 years old. Yeah, it doesn't look good for those guys, man. Very sadly.
Oh, I need to bring that up to her then.
I
I need to bring that up to her then because she hates Muslims. So
there you go.
Where she's like, oh yeah, she wears a suit. She's pretty cool.
She wears a suit and says nice things. I agree with.
I also like to say Merkel. I like to say Merkel because it sounds fancy.
She says like vague platitudes that I sort of agree with. Maybe I like her.
Yeah.
It's pure female logic.
Yeah, exactly. It is complete female logic. She cares about education, guys. We don't know what type of education. We don't know what's up with the education, but she cares about it.
Education, it's good. It means kids are getting taught something. I don't know what. They're getting taught to cut their dicks off, but hey, they're getting taught, right?
Hey, it's education.
It's kind of the funny thing. Like every single person that's like really big about like defending the school system is always like the number one argument against the school system. Like
yes.
It's just like how like retarded they are. Like how do you put your pants on in the morning with how fucking stupid you are? Like I don't know.
Justin, have you heard of this guy? Because I was telling Rick that he should be all Orthodox Tom Likas. You know Tom Likas at all?
No, I don't.
Okay, so he's one of these shock jocks, right? From the radio back in the day.
Libertarian or something, right?
He sort of is. He's sort of on that sort of spectrum of the if it's legal, then what's wrong with it? If it's that sort of thinking, if it's in the Constitution. But
I have a coworker that's like that who's like, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead, Justin.
Oh, I have a coworker who's like, he's a nice guy, but like he's like really trapped in like the libertarian thinking. Like, he said like verbatim, like, if people are gonna do it anyway, why don't we just let the government profit off of it? And I heard that.
I can just hear the drool coming off of him.
like that's the thing. Like if you take that to its logical conclusion, like the government's going to be profiting off like child porn. Government's going to be profiting off heroin. Like,
hey, they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, they're going to do it anyway.
But murder's
going to happen. people murdering forever is
The
actually
government should profit off murder.
It's actually
Hey,
very trad. Very
Hey,
trad.
have you heard about Cain? You know, she's been happening ever since the start of the world. So why not put?
I mean, guys, the beginning, Cain, he was a libertarian. He started, you know, the business of murder.
You know,
Rich.
Abel violated the non-aggression principle. There's a problem, Rick.
Did he violate it? I don't know.
That's actually God violated the non-aggression principle. That's a problem.
The
God
funniest thing I
violated
heard was
Satan's NAP.
Yeah.
the funniest thing I heard was that God is an ANCAP and Adam and Eve violated the NAP on the eighth tree. It's the most hilarious fucking take I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, but wait a second. The point I was about to make was about Tom Likas and college, because you mentioned the education system. Because he's the type of boomer who's always like, he's sort of red pilled on issues of women. That's it.
Okay.
And he'll always talk to callers, and he'll be like, "Hey Tom, what's up? Hey, yeah, I've been seeing this chick, and I've done so and so." And when they just mention, for example, kids, I have kids, he'll be like, "Wait a second." It's like, "Stop right there. How old are you? 22? That's too young. What college are you going to? Not exactly. You're a loser. If you're not making 100K, you're a loser." He's like, you should.
Congo.
What?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're talking about money.
No, not money at all. Some guy. But I was talking about the education. Somebody said something about people who advocate the education system being the poster child for not going into the education system. So I was making an example out of this Tom Likas guy who's always going about going to college for purely material gain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's completely like if you mention you have children on his radio show, he'll be like, "Shut up, stop right there. What college are you going to?" Like,
are your children making you money?
Yes. What have the children done for you lately?
It's like,
you're too young, and then you're 40.
To the grocery
and
store
then
and start like yelling at this kid, like, "How'd you get that lollipop? That's communism."
Hand out, kid.
These people think they get, ranting at the kid and the stuff. These people think they can just get whatever they want.
Shit, awful. Damn, where the hell did Sean go? He backed out. It's 10. Well, again, it's almost 11:00, and he probably had to fall asleep. He has to travel tomorrow. So thanks, Sean, for backing out and not saying goodbye. You jerk.
I thought he did say bye.
He probably thinks he doesn't matter. Oh no.
Yeah, first he's late, then he doesn't say bye.
Shameful behavior.
Rick, I say you contact him right
Alex.
now and let him know he matters.
I've called him on live. I called him on air already, so I'm not going to bother Rick.
Rick, he's going to commit suicide if you don't.
Sean's the last guy. He'd be like, "Oh,
yeah, I know. I'm just...
it's too much trouble, man." My Sean guys, I thought about killing myself, but it's way too much trouble, guys.
Is Sean the guy that looks? Is Sean the guy that looks like an all-American boy?
Sean is pure Americana. Sean is Biff Tannen, bro.
Yes. Okay, I know who he is because I've seen it, and I was like, that guy looks like the guy from Back to the Future.
Like if we had like, okay, I was talking about this with my wife out the other day, and like talking about I show for monarchy all the time, and she's like, "Oh, would you really have like a king?" I'm like, "Listen, tomorrow if we had the epic collapse, which I'm sorry guys, I'm not gonna happen. But if we had to collapse tomorrow, and he's just like ruling like bands of fightoms and marauders,
Folks, it's gonna happen in 2009.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, guys. I drive up to Indiana and I put a crown on Sean's head. And like, guess what, Sean? You've been drafted, son. Okay?
You've been drafted into kinghood.
That's my very high opinion of Sean. Sean is pure Americana. Sean should be running the world. Okay?
Where is he located?
Like Sean.
He's over in Indiana, I think.
Indiana.
So he's gonna be the Pope of Indiana then.
The Emperor of Indiana.
Yeah, the Emperor of Indiana.
Over. I'll start a mestizo gang in California.
I don't know what I'll do really. I have no plan. I live in the border, so.
So you got to do. You just got to make friends with the Mexicans, and then no one will bother you.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Wait, I forgot you actually are Mexican.
Yes, I am.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, Dios mío, no. Me descubriste.
Ay, caramba.
Ay, no. Ay, los frijolitos se me quemaron.
Okay, Nick Salvador says, "Are you sure you wouldn't want Orc Brand to be the king? Orc Brand would be head of propaganda for the monarchy.
That's not-
He'd be like he'd definitely in the court.
Banyan division.
As far as me, I'd be glad to just be like a guild captain of the electricians. That's it.
I'll be a ditch
You know?
digger.
I'm not looking for any sort of
Ditch digger.
competition. Like much like Jack Donovan, the pagan homosexual says, you know, I'm glad to bend the knee as long as if I look up in the sky, I see eagles.
Guys, are we gonna have like what are these guys called that torture people and then have like black hats and huge bellies? Medieval caricatures.
So you want to turn like the world into berserk?
Yes.
Berserk, yes.
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna be that guy. Okay.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
I'm just gonna.
Okay, so
I'm just gonna.
guys, brief
What?
interruption, fellas. On the in Norma's burning chat, I said, "Good night, Sean. You nigger who can't say goodbye." And he says, "Lol, I try to get in there, buddy. Hates to interrupt." See, that's why Sean should be king. Like,
Oh.
sorry guys, just want to interrupt. You guys are having a good time. You just feel like going to sleep later.
Oh damn! What a cordial man.
Classic Sean right there, pure Sean.
I actually have the Sean 20-year anniversary collection. He, the classic Sean that you're mentioning is an actual DVD collection.
Classic Sean tweets.
Yeah, classic Sean literature, instructional DVDs on how to be a true gentleman.
It'd be like
Sean
that,
stories at the time during
like the Shirley Temple DVD collection.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Sean story. The last meetup we had in November here in Miami. Last time these guys hang out with Gus in real life. Okay, at the time I told a story already. My wife had to go to the hospital because she had like gallstones. It was really bad. So I had to be in the hospital for like the first 2 days of the damn meetup until the second day. I was able to, she had her family there. I'm like, okay, baby, I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna head to the meetup because the guys are all waiting for me there. I head there into the Airbnb we all rented, and Sean's trashed out of his mind in front of the front lawn. And he's like he's trying to take a piss in the bush. He's like, I can't see my pants. Someone come with this in my pants. I'm like, I'm not gonna see your pants, dude. I'm gonna shove you into the bathroom of the Airbnb. But he's like 6 foot something. He's this giant white man in front of the damn house. And he's like, "Sup, Rick?" It's like trying to wrangle his ass, man.
That's a deleted scene in the DVDs, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's the lead scene in the Rick's Life DVDs.
Yeah, it's like Orthodox jackass. Hey, there's a guy with a huge beard and all the Orthodox get up, and he's like, "This is Dimitri, and this is I don't know. Tell me something. A jackass name for Orthodox jackass.
This is Stavros or something.
Stavros and George.
Stavros, Yanni, George, and Ivan, and I
think the name Yanni is cursed now.
It's one of the most one of the most
Very
popular names in Greece, but like everyone just associates it with some like dude that left Orthodoxy for man ass.
Yanni. You ever see that sign someone put up some like local Greek place, and they put Yanni's Greek Express whenever Yanni's pop up. Like Yanni, like, oh, it turns out I left Orthodox for Schismatics, and then I left Schismatics for British man ass.
So that's the funny thing. He left Orthodoxy for like the opposite reason. He got mad about Callisto's wear, like saying some gay thing, and then he leaves.
Callistos is a
schism
pretty gay
for
name to me.
Callistos is. There's a couple of Saint Callistos, I think.
Ah, damn it. Okay. So,
No. It was where he's still alive, so he's not a saint yet. But he had
No, I'm
like
talking about
I
like
guess
the name itself.
dude,
Yeah.
I can't. I know this is probably what.
I don't know.
the most
Okay.
terrible thing you can give Callisto's Ware was that he had like an old guy moment where he's like, yeah, we should have like we should be kind, we should have like some sort of recognition for gay couples. He's trying to be nice or something like that, but it's like, I'm sorry, shut up, old man.
Shut up, old man. How many times we got to teach you this lesson?
Old man.
Like, are you insisting on this, old man?
It was just shameful, and I oh man,
I still think that's
I
one
feel
of the
like he hasn't watched all the Anglican.
one of the most funniest things about Callistos Ware is he you know the Tootsie Pop owl commercial. He sounds like that owl. Like listen to a recording of him talking. He literally sounds like the Tootsie Pop owl.
The first time I heard him talking was on a YouTube video, like when I was first converting, and I was like, this guy should read the entire Harry Potter series.
dude,
Like,
I know this is probably like really disrespectful, but I can't stop imagining Father Spiriadon in a jackass-like environment, just running around.
It's like the holy fools, and they're like, "Welcome to Jackass," and then like, then they like runs over and like cooks some meat in the middle of Lent and like puts it on a stick and takes a bite.
Yeah, first oh man, I truly love that. That's one of the best Orthodox YouTube channels because it's not like long spiels about some like autistic theological.
Filioque ads. Rome is gay, and then
oh gosh,
nice small like
Gosh.
5-10 minute videos.
Gobbledygook.
Always really great, and
It's gobbledygook.
I have his ebook. His book. I have an ebook version. I haven't read it yet because
it's the Kingdom of God and the Kingdom of Satan or something like that.
Yes.
I've
He
heard
said
that one's
he was
really good.
trying he was trying to write like a spiritual sequel to Orthodoxy and the religion of the future, which I'm totally on board with that concept. I just haven't gotten to it, sadly.
I have way too many books.
Do you ever plan on doing a reading of that book or something like that, Rick? Because there's a bunch of Father Server from Rose on YouTube, but that's all text. So
But yeah,
I did
like the robot voice.
yes.
hello,
I did
yes, I am.
of Tears of Repentance, some of the essays from that book. But I'll be honest, I'm doing the editing, and maybe I just hate my own voice on recordings and doing editing. But I just feel like it sounds awful. I feel like it sounds awful, especially as great as that book is. Tears of Repentance. Look it up, fellas. Get that book. It's a nice book by a taxi driver in Greece who has these. It's like
What was that again?
a taxi driver in Greece.
Oh yeah, I've heard. I heard you posting about that.
I say this all the time, and I hate to be like, I guess to be part of like the Zog industrial complex entertainment zeitgeist. But sometimes I see these great stories, either contemporary or ancient, and I'm like, where's that movie? Like we get how many? We get like 2 Holocaust or World War II movies a year in America. Like, where's my one saint movie a decade? Where's my one movie about like this taxi driver having these fantastic...
You get a book about a saint or like a movie about a saint, and it's like, oh, this saint was actually mean. You get like Agora, where it's like, oh, the Parabolani were mean.
20 movies about being a slave a decade. Yes.
A slave to the cross.
I've never actually seen Agora. I just think it's funny. Like that Parabolani is honestly one of the most badass depictions of Christianity in recent media. Like they're just hanging out and like they're giant cows and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
Well, Equilibrium looks pretty Catholic. I don't know.
Equilibrium. Is that the Gun Fu movie?
Yeah, the Gun Fu. But it's like
John Kata. I think I watched that movie in English class. And Like the teacher did like a quiz on the movie, and he had like this one question for like 20 points. We were doing like a class like quiz game, and he was like, "What is the martial arts in the movie?" And I was the only one that got it right, and it was gun kata or something like that.
Yeah, but the suits they wear, they look pretty priestly and shit.
Yeah.
If you twist it enough, it's a Christian move.
Yeah, you got twisted hard.
Yeah. You're gonna make a loop de loop with that. You're gonna really how you call it when you grab your shirt and then you squeeze it till the sweat is gone.
It's like basically like you make
Wring it out.
Yeah, you need to wring it. Yeah.
Yeah, people try to do that with all kinds of stuff. People try to make like be terrible towards trash movies and like, oh, actually, Harry Potter can be actually we've seen a Christian allegory. It's like, no.
No.
James Martin does that in his book.
Of course he does. He's a faggot.
It's funny because he's like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter are two books that really represent the Jesuit ethos or something like that.
The juice who we eat those, bro.
Man, we need to talk more about the Southern Israelite and Jesuits.
Don't mention his name. You'll summon him and his family.
Oh, that's right. These
Wait,
guys were talking about me? Exactly. Justin.
I don't know who that is, but
Southern Israelite is some weird dude who they made his own basement religion. He's always trying to debate Jay Dyer with it. He's like, come on, debate me, Jay. Jay, I'm gonna sue all your fans. That's it, Jay. It's war on Jay Dyer now.
He don't you realize that he stole all of Jay's fans?
He stole them all, bro.
He broke his life.
And like he tries to debate, and Jay debates everybody, but he won't debate this guy. It's not because he's afraid. It's because the dude's an absolute clown. He believes in like not only flat Earth, but that God is a little man who lives above the dome.
God is a solid entity on top of the dome of the flat Earth.
And if you believe this, you're the fool.
Moses saw his biceps.
what?
Bro, Cesar like hate watching the Israelite dog. I can't stomach it, but Cesar's like, I can't believe you guys here. Can you believe it?
Hey guys, I was eating some burritos and I was watching the Southern Israelite.
I know Rick saw it.
What do you know about Rick, huh?
I know Rick saw it. I got this random ad on Instagram, and there was like this one cult that was like stuttering makes damages the word of God, and stutterers don't go to heaven. and it was like this like take our 3-day program. It cures stuttering for life, and then stuff like that. It was some crazy shit. And then
do you want to sound like Porky Pig or not? Huh?
As someone who has a stutter,
As
someone who has a stutter, I'm personally offended. I'm
same with Moses.
Absurd, like the hilarious things. What's that? Some sort of Pentecostals, right?
I don't even know. I think it was just some random sect. It was just like I brought up how Moses had a speech impediment, and the lady was like, "So what? I don't know Moses."
I don't know no nigga named Moses.
It's like Hank Hill when he says, Jesus had long hair, not if I was his daddy." Like, I don't know, Moses. Oh, you're comparing yourself to Moses, huh?
My favorite freaking Hank Hill quote was the one I just saw recently. Someone sent me the clip, and it's like Bobby, soccer was invented. Hold on, I got pulled up. It's too. I can't like fake quote it.
I love anime, King of the Hill.
Same.
I love the English. The English dub is pretty good, but you gotta watch it in Japanese.
Was like Dale was saying like global warming was fake, and Hank's like, "Damn it, Dale! It's already 90 degrees outside in Texas. If it gets 1 degree hotter, I'm gonna kick your ass." And then there's something like that.
Okay. Here's the clip. I'm putting it right now in audio. Hold on. Next to the mic.
Soccer was invented by European ladies to keep them busy while their husbands did the cooking.
Why do you have to hate what you don't understand?
I don't hate you, Bobby.
I meant soccer.
Oh yeah, I hate soccer, yes.
Oh, yes, indeed.
He's like, why do you hate what you don't understand? I don't hate you, Bobby.
I don't understand, Bobby.
I don't understand that kid. That's gonna be me, dude, because I'm having kids at 35, dog.
But I love how Hank has this alternate dimension view of Europe. Like,
It's just like there's like pre-internet stuff, but before anyone could fact check you, you could just say whatever the hell you wanted. Just weave mythos out of the prejudices. Like, yeah, soccer was invented by European ladies who wanted to get their husbands busy.
oh my mom invents so much stuff, like straight up, like she's the greatest. She could make up like stories, and she could work in Hollywood pretty much. Make something original in there. She'd be like, "Hey, somebody speak."
In Hollywood, I don't know. In Hollywood, there was one kind of thing they make up.
Hollywood ever been original? I don't think so.
Yeah, but I'm saying she could
I
make
heard a
something
cat.
original. Like I remember one time somebody
heard
told me
cat.
that steak was invented in Mongolia.
Wait, steak?
No. I'm just saying that's the type of stuff she says.
Oh.
So just come up with super facts like that.
Super fact.
The only place you can find that now is the playground. Like I had a friend who like my cousin kissed a girl, or like my cousin kissed this dude, and then
I kissed the dude and I like.
and he had a disease called Hespe, like Pepsi but Hespe, and now she's gonna die. Like like this is like I remember that because I'm like, there's no disease like that, you idiot. And then he's like, no, it's real. Look it up. My mom told me about it.
Dude, that reminds me of a time I had a weird mark in my neck and I didn't know what is it called a hickey when somebody kisses you and it stays?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes. So I didn't know what a hickey. Yeah, and I didn't know what a hickey was because in Spanish it's called chupete. So hickey, it's pretty different.
Okay.
And I had this weird mark on my neck, and the whole time everyone was like, "Caesar's got a hickey. Caesar's got a hickey. Who are you hanging around with, Caesar? Was she hot?" And I'm like, "What's a hickey?" They're asking me all this. They're asking me all these questions about the situation. And I'm like, first of all, what's a hickey?
Dude, in high school, my brother had this weird freaking growth on his neck for like an entire month. It was disgusting. It was like a giant white bubble on his neck. I'm like, dude, what the hell is that thing? He's like, I don't know. He went to the doctor and they're like, we don't know what it is. It's probably some sort of fungus and they had to treat it. Dude, the creepiest thing, it looked like he was growing a second head from his neck. It was the grossest thing.
Some succubus injected that into his neck.
So we started talking to him like, little crow is growing a second head.
he was impregnated at the neck.
Seriously, man. Gross.
James Cameron presents. James Cameron presents Neck.
Funny.
It's not like an episode of JoJo. I don't think anyone here watches JoJo.
No, Rick watches JoJo. I need to catch up.
Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen the ones on Netflix. Sadly, only.
But there's this part. There's this fight in part 3 where Joseph is like fighting this like growth on his arm, and it morphs into like this like tiny person just coming out of his arm, and it's just like beating the shit out of him. He's like, oh no.
Is Joseph like a comedic character?
Yeah,
they're all kind of comedic characters.
Yeah, because every time I see his character, he's doing something stupid or something silly.
That's just part of it. It's like Joseph the only character that's not really a comedic character is Jotaro, because he's supposed to be like the stoic badass Clint Eastwood or something.
Yeah, he's Kenshiro pretty much.
Yeah.
I actually non-ironically love Fist of the North Star. I can stomach the whole like 500 episodes it goes on. Like I don't know how long it goes on, but I can stomach it.
It's like
It was-
150 episodes.
Yeah, but it's so
I,
emotional.
I just started watching Galaxy Express 99.
Hmm.
The
That show's like
movies,
90 episodes.
Yeah, no. The show itself is like 113 episodes.
It's
It's slow as hell too. I watched one episode. I'm like, do people actually watch all this? Like, it's not
But
even
the movies
bad,
are great.
it's slow.
But the movies are great. I'll probably give my kid like some sort of abridged version of those.
You need to get your kid Cowboy Bebop. Just don't let him the DVD with the guy with tits.
Oh, there is
That's the best story in there, though. Jupiter Jazz, damn.
Yeah, man.
But-
But I'm just
that's-
telling you because I saw it as a little kid and I was deeply confused.
Yeah, but think of it. It shows transgenderism as some sort of like bizarre anomaly
does.
and like almost like a tragic fate.
Yeah,
Not just
because
like, hey guys, look, he's so proud and out.
I think that's
guys.
really one
He's
of
gonna
the
teach your
funniest
library.
things. It's the funniest thing about JoJo. In like part 5, there's a couple of villains that are like incredibly homoerotic, and they're also like the most evil villains in the series. Like, like
there's
you
a
get,
lot of
you get
there's
like-
a lot of that. Go ahead.
there's like this gay guy, and it's like there's this gay guy, and like he gets introduced by like fucking bombing a city and killing everyone in like a major populated area. Actually, it wasn't a bomb; it was fungus. And then after this dude dies, his like gay lover is like, "Fuck that guy. He lost. He's stupid." And then
It's
like,
fungus, so it's like AIDS or something.
it's
Oslo's.
how far are you, JoJo?
Alright.
Like,
At the end of literally the part where they find Dio's second coffin.
oh, so you're like at the very beginning of part 3.
Yes.
Okay, so this is like the end of part 5, where like they go like super crazy with the stand powers. Where
Gotcha. I haven't gone to the part where we have the stand powers yet, so
that's part 3. It's like the
Dude,
very
but it's so funny that in Japan it's still like the evil gay guy is still a thing, and it's unashamedly so. Like Pretty Prisoner in the One Punch Man, like he's always portrayed as a guy who has a harem of dudes in prison, and he only chases villains because he thinks they're handsome or whatever it may be. He's like, I must rescue these heroes because they're so beautiful, and I want them to live so I can see them.
I was reading.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Sorry, but I was reading this manga.
Hey, hate me, but go ahead.
I was reading this manga called Tokyo Ghoul.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been popular for a while, but there's this one character who's like gay, and like there's this one scene where this dude's like torturing the main character, and whenever he gets like too into torturing the main character, he calms down by calling this gay guy a faggot and then punching a hole in his stomach, and then
damn.
Yeah.
Damn,
Okay,
son.
in the live chat we were saying Soccer's for Cowards, says Z-Man. Yeah. I think it's hilarious how Europeans will laugh at football, which, admittedly I don't watch football either. I don't watch any sports, but like you watch
I'm
soccer,
Mexican
you
and
have,
football
like,
sucks.
you have dudes falling over and like, oh yeah, I'm hurt. Faking injuries all the time. It's pathetic. Tartara was invented by Mongols. Maybe. I freaking love Tartara, so I can't complain. On the beach, rightly. I don't reference that. I was disappointed, and Z-Man says again, I was disappointed about that they went with the Pride angle with the Tiger and Bunny movie when the gay dude was just a complete comedy archetype. I've not seen Tiger and Bunny movie.
Yeah, there's also that gay dude in Gurren Lagann who's like a pedophile.
No, the best one I've seen is actually the series I tell Rick about all the time because in Mexico it's like a really big hit ever since like the 90s. So it's Saint Seiya. There's a point where there's literally this guy who kind of wears makeup. He has eyelashes and stuff, and he's beating the shit out of the main character. But he's portrayed as a really vain guy who hasn't lost because he's so worried about his appearance that he doesn't want to get a scratch on himself. So the main dude beats him by giving him a speech about how he has never felt pain and he has, and boom, and that's it, and I just it's
Beat him
what
with
we're
his
talking
anime.
about. Yes, exactly. But he's like, you're so bait and gay. You're so fake and gay. Literally.
There's this one show called Baki. It was on Netflix. But
Oh, dude, I started watching Baki. Baki's crazy, dude.
Baki is hella good. But like, there's this one villain.
Oh, Baki the Grappler. Damn, that shit's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got some of the best fight scenes I've ever seen out of like any anime. It's off the chain.
I call it fucked up anatomy. The anime.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's not even like he's just not bad at drawing anatomy. If you actually look at the comic, like
he's not, but the style is super.
It's way too
Do
detailed.
you mean the manga?
What?
Do you mean the manga?
Yeah, the manga. I just said
Mango.
comic because that's a gay word, mango or whatever. But
Look, it's a manga. They're called seiyus, not voice actors. It's seiyu, okay?
I always got confused by that. But
it's not a sword. It's a kuchigata, okay?
yeah.
Okay, I'll let you go.
You playing Yakuza? You mean you got Gotoku or like? Sorry, Mom. It's not Attack on Titan. It's Shinjeki no Kyojin.
The mom's like frag.
Gay nigga. Sorry.
I love my Jojo Nakino Naboken. I love that.
Your son's a gay nigger. Go ahead with the main thing you were talking about.
I forgot the fuck I was talking about.
Okay, it was
Anime niggas.
Baki. There's this
Baki
villain
the manga.
Baki that they make this guy too strong, so they beat him by telling him he can't beat like this guy. His entire like philosophy is like, I want to find someone who can beat me so I can finally die and fulfill my purpose. And they beat him by telling him, you'll never find someone you can beat him, and then he regresses into a baby, and that's how they beat him.
What?
It's like the retarded version of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
It's honestly
Space baby.
Yeah, Space Baby.
The Star Child.
The retarded Star Child.
I forgot the name of the dude. It's like that's the thing about Baki. It's like no one dies in Baki.
Isn't it his dad?
No, his dad is like the world's strongest creature or whatever. Like there's a scene where he like kills this like giant elephant with his bare hands, and like they shoot the elephant with a tank and it shrugs it off, and then he just like they compare him to like a walking nuclear bomb. But
No, yeah, and he has like a muscle face in his back.
yeah, no, but
What the hell? I'm not that far into
what my
Baki.
favorite ass pull in Baki, is this villain. His trump card is literally C4. He planted in his wrist, and he just slams it in this guy's face, and that's how he beats him. And
What?
like, I'm not even shitting you. He gets explosives. It's amazing.
Damn, I got vision now.
It's crazy and it's enjoyable to a point, but to me, it's so grotesque that it's off-putting sometimes.
Yeah.
Everybody looks so grotesque and off. It's like they're like a world where everybody's tripping, just malformed and tumorous.
Tripping balls.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about Baki is that there's no real there's no powers, there's no like superpowers. It's just like this guy, it's like a fucked up version of martial arts. Let's like it's not, like there's this one, like, oh yeah, this guy his right hand is poisonous now, and the reason why it's poisonous is because he was shoving his hand in poison for like 15 years straight, and or like
it's like what
or
it's
like
like what,
he
it's like what people think martial arts is. I know this guy that can look at you and fucking
later
crack
on
your ass open.
later
Just by
on
looking at you.
later on in the manga, they fight this guy called Pickle, and Pickle is a 15 million-year-old
Yeah, he's like a
caveman
caveman.
who
Yeah.
he got thawed out of ice, and he's like portrayed as like this like giant toddler. Like there's a scene where he just like this woman gets too close to him, so he rapes her, and it's like Baki.
He didn't do nothing.
Did nothing.
Yeah, he didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
He's pickled.
Blind Gulag says it doesn't quite sound as crazy as Fist of the North Star, though. I haven't seen Fist
Yeah,
of the
but-
North Star.
The thing is, Fist of the North Star is super crazy, but since everybody's more proportional, it doesn't look as nuts. It just doesn't look as grotesque and nuts as this. Because
Yeah, but that's another big thing. It's like Fist of the North Star. You'll have a guy like slicing people in half, but he doesn't have like a thigh that's the size of a normal person. Well, that isn't Fist of the North Star, but they're all crazy.
yeah, like for example, a Fist of the North Star works in that there's various schools of martial arts, but it sort of makes sense, because they explain it like well, at first there's two. There's like the guy that pokes holes in you and then you explode, and then there's another guy that can
There's
manipulate.
Shinken and there's
Yeah, the other one with the
Nanto
fingers.
Seiken.
Nanto Seiken is the one where they cut people to ribbons with just the wind, just manipulating the wind on their fingers, and it lends itself to some great animation, and but it just doesn't look. It just doesn't look as. It's just not as badly designed as Baki. That's why it doesn't look so crazy. That's why it's
All right, all right. I got like 10 more minutes before I gotta go to bed, guys. To end this live stream on a good note, Cesar, what's some of the crazy stuff we got in Tear the Girl from Earth?
What was it? What?
What's some of the crazy stuff we got in Tear the Girl from Earth?
Well, it's pretty much all. It's not insane. There's tropes. That there's elves and all of that. High fantasy kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's okay. Basically, it's like high fantasy world, like D&D kind of universe where you have a bunch of races and stuff like that. But instead of like a pseudo medieval setting, like a Dark Ages kind of setting, it's one that has been through the ringer as far as cultural degeneration goes. All their kings are dead. They have some sort of high-tech systems going on. Not a lot. Terra brings most of that when she comes around because she's she's from our world where we have like mass communication, social media going on. So she kind of brings these concepts in there.
One of the crazier things we have here is that the mechanics of the world are not mechanics. It all works based on. I compared it to how orcs work in Warhammer 40K, where they pretty much just wish function and they do.
We still hear you. Okay.
What?
I guess his thing's dying. I think his phone's dying. Okay, I think he's not being able to hear us, but we still hear him. But basically they don't have it. Okay, there's a lot of stories out there that have like a technology versus magic kind of thing, but really, like in any like post Arthur C. Clarke interpretation of this kind of story is that all magic really is a different way to approach technology. Or all technology, or all magic is really a higher form of technology, where we become indistinguishable from magic. Is the phrase he used? Clark. So you have a different phase of like the old school magic, kind of like Lord of the Rings subtle kind of magic happening. We had a revolution in the use of magic called technics. So it becomes sort of like an analog to electricity, but not really. It's because it's like it's ultimately controlled by human wills. It's a little flexible. It's a little dangerous. A little volatile. So Terra happens to bring a bunch of tools to the world, and she happens to have these are power tools, electrical tools, and people who find them are like, how the hell do these things work? They're stable. They're not dependent on wills. I mean, like if you run a power drill, you aren't dependent on its function, not dependent on what you're feeling. or your interpretation, your will upon it, or anything like that. It's an independent tool from your will. So it becomes like a huge clash of paradigms here because you have a world that's dying, and you have Terra who also comes from our world who I would argue is also a world that's dying. And you have these kind of two forms of death colliding with each other. You have the last form of meaning you would have in this world, much like ours. You have different gods who kind of run this region of the world that she's in. Different religions, different factions, and she's employed by a
Yeah,
You got
person.
me.
Yo, I'm giving the basic rundown of the Terra universe here.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
You have this world basically divided by different factions, different gods. You have but Terra begins to work for this one like female wizard called Trigger Mori. Her mission is to essentially just dethrone all the gods. She's like, they're not real gods, which in this world is accurate. They're not real gods. They're basically superpower wizards who are
You're
pretending.
cult leaders, pretty much.
They're like a Joel Osteen's. They're there to farm power and money and magic from their followers, but they're not real gods. They're not pre-existent from the universe. They're not like ethereal beings. They're just like wizards who are drawing their power from the worship of their followers.
They're sort of like not as metaphysical as the God Hand, but sort of like the God Hand by anybody who knows anything about Berserk. Just making a comparison.
Yeah. So it's like Terra was up in this universe and joins the struggle to destroy and dethrone the gods. But it's like she's also she herself is a commentary on all the female protagonists, action female protagonists who we've seen throughout the last decade or so. To the point where, like, when I first saw the Terra concept, it wasn't so widespread. But right now on comics, if you ask anyone who's been following comics for a while now, they'll tell you there's a stereotype right now of like the action female protagonist with like the side of her head shaved.
Yeah.
And has like the center like droopy mohawk thing, a
Purple
wild color, right?
Yeah.
So that Terra concept was around for like since like what 2014 when I thought of the character, and it's been that long since I actually put together this story for her. But for a few years I was designing it. I kind of put it aside, picked that back up again. But now it's like a trope. And so it's become this crazy thing that me and Heather talk about all the time. That's like we jokingly call it Terra summoning. we're like we'll have some weird event. Okay, so after a few years of having this, I had a D&D group that I ran a game with, right? And Terra was one of the NPCs of this group. And so I forgot about it for like a few years, but then like the group dissolved because the guy stopped being friends with me because I was too right wing and he was a giant pussy, sadly. So that's
the
all.
Chatherick.
But I had great ideas for this story and these characters that I had in the story. I'm gonna develop this myself independently, and so I kept the back burner for a couple years. I brought it back out again. And I was really thinking about it for a long time. Like, this could be its own story independently of any game I'm running. And this is like on my docket for like good comic characters. And I was intensely thinking about these stories, these characters, and this narrative I was building. And one night, me and my wife love to do karaoke, right? Love karaoke. Go to karaoke night one night, and I swear to Almighty God, before me, singing the song Handlebars from Flobots, which is not a great band. It's not the greatest song.
But it's fake.
This girl strolls up, and I swear, she looks exactly like Terra, and so closely that my wife notices me freaking out. It's like, what the hell? This character I've been thinking about for like a month straight. appears before me and sings this song and then disappears from the bar. And I kept having these like encounters with like random terror parallels. If you live in Miami, you know these people don't exist here. Okay, it's all spics here, bro. Really.
There's a lot of
And
those in my high school.
I kept finding like what the hell's going on, and then once Cesar gets on board with the project, and he heard me on live streaming, he's like, "Hey, I want to be your artist." I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's do this thing."
Yeah.
And so but he's been having his own encounters.
Yeah, me too. Like,
so
look, look, I'm really like forgetful, and I forget when I dream, and I forget a lot of stuff. But I think you have a small record of when they told you, like, Rick.
Yeah, like, hey, look at this girl talking to me, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's terror summoning. Like, the coincidences keep happening where things are exactly like we're thinking them up. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But either way, we're telling this story no matter what. As much people might get mad about it, most people might like it. Many people might like get bored of it, get bored of the art, get bored of storytelling. I don't care. This is a story I had to tell. We gotta tell. This is like our answer to the culture. The culture we have right now is a dead, dying culture, and it's so dead and dying. It's embarrassing. Especially in the West. I mean, I guess you can consider Mexico part of the West, much like to pretend.
Yeah, I do. It absorbs the stuff later, but it absorbs it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's part of it.
So it's like, listen, man, this thing we live. Okay. It's okay. Like Star Wars, the current story in Star Wars, right? With Rey.
Yeah.
Told Mary Sue, like, he would just keep handing shit to her. The Batwoman story's gonna start up now. Harley Quinn and the weird rigmarole that character is run through in both movies and the comics. It's like
the Birds of Prey thing.
This whole like what I would characterize being like, I guess, egocentric or whatever. This pre-Terra zeitgeist is there ready to birth this character, like much like Watchmen had its like it was like its commentary on the golden age characters of comics and commentary on like the 70s, 60s era, even early 80s era of comics. This is our like Watchmen like answer to the current era of comics. So for those of you guys who love this channel, this is gonna be very comic central, man. I'm not joking. Like, it's gonna be very like, I'm not a politician. I'm not a movie maker. I'm not the smartest guy in the universe. But what do I know? I know my realm, which is storytelling, which is comics, which is the commentary on critique. That's what we're gonna do. If you have a better battle to fight, a greater battle to fight, then by all means fight that. But what we're gonna do is fight the greater battle on this small stage, which is the comic world. So
pretty much, and besides, you're gonna get a very different sort of tale in a very different style too. Like, stylistically, I think this is gonna be a really great comic too. Just speaking as an artist, it's not phoned in at all.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, no, I'm just saying that, nobody's doing what we're doing at all. I mean, obviously, things are always like derived from something, but I don't see anybody else doing it. That's why we're moving at a pretty good pace, because I'm also kind of like, nobody should beat us to the punch.
Listen, the problem with right now you have this thing. Okay, if you guys were there for Gamergate, right now Comicsgate is happening. It's still happening, and I'll be honest. Some of the guys involved with the Comicsgate thing are just behind the punch on this thing.
Yeah,
they think the answer to the SAW infection of comics is to be like, oh, we're just like the 90s. We're just like entertainment, just neutral ground, just escapism. I'm sorry, you cannot. Much like Rod Dreher, you cannot escape this. Okay, they're gonna find you. They're gonna call you a Nazi. They're gonna
Exactly.
Waco your ass anyway. If, if you're gonna tell a story, it has to. It can't go backwards. It has to go forwards. It means it has to take in part of its narrative the critique of what came before it. So you have to. You can't just go back to step one when they're on step two. You gotta go. You gotta be the guy on step three. So for me, step three is the deconstructions of the deconstructionists.
Exactly.
I spoke about this with our buddy Jay Dyer a while ago. It's like
I was gonna mention him right now
yes,
as you
yes.
were speaking.
Like that should be our goal. Deconstructionists, because all they want to do is tear things down. Well, you know, we're gonna tear their shit down as well, because our goal here is deconstruct what they built and rebuild the hero.
Exactly.
Because the hero is gone from current comic books. Right now, we have hero factions fighting each other: Avengers versus X-Men, Cyclops turned evil, Wolverine always going through whatever rigmarole he has.
Captain America.
Captain America's
He's a fucking Hydra agent.
Hydra agent. All this garbage. It's garbage. Okay, you want to build the hero again?
My favorite is like the Captain America, like saving the illegals.
Yes. Oh my god, dude. Listen, if you want to build this up again, you have to tear down what these mobsters put in their place. Okay.
And unfortunately, I think Watchmen was sort of part of the problem. It's a great thing.
Absolutely.
It's a great comic, but it was part of the problem.
I've never read a comic like American superheroes. Never been into that.
Okay, well, Watchmen.
You just need to read the Watchmen.
Just read Watchmen.
Okay.
Because
you'll see the problem right away.
Because the thing about Alan Moore is that he's a great writer, but his intent is ultimately, as John De La Ross says, it's ultimately satanic.
It's like building a very effective weapon, but then it's used by the wrong ideology. You know.
Exactly.
He has a great tool set with stupid ideas.
Exactly. He has fantastic talent, but he uses it wrongly. Hey, okay, comments. Hey, Rick, glad to see you hang in there. Just caught your stream on my feed as we're about to go to bed. We'll catch my commutes from jail to office. God bless you guys and your families. Thank you, bro. Christopher to laughter. Oh, it's Chris to laughter. Okay. I know who you are, bro. Z-Man, looking forward to it. Arab script, I can't read, says, oh, yes. Z-Man says, the fact that you guys have a clear vision of where comics should go makes it more attractive and makes mostly folks like actual vision. No, they have vision. A lot of the guys, okay, the big comics guys, who are they? Richard C. Meyer, your boy Zach, you know, the same guy. Ethan Van Sciver, all these Comics Gate Central guys, they have vision, but I gotta be honest, it's the wrong vision. You can't.
It's like we gotta go back, man.
You can't retreat into escapism. It's like how atheists say like they're some sort of neutral stance. Like, look, I just lack a belief, bro. It's like, no, you don't. You have a belief. You have your own mentality of the universe.
All of these people,
a belief. You have a contrary belief. Like, you can't escape, especially in the current zeitgeist, you can't escape a political undertone to all your work.
Ultimately, like all these people who swear that they're neutral, ultimately, they follow a logical line somewhere.
Exactly.
It makes them gay.
Yes, exactly.
If something doesn't stand alone, if something just exists in the ether, you have a viewpoint that you're pushing, whether you believe you are or not. It's
like these atheists who resist being gay supporters, and I'm like, you can't resist that. You gotta go that way. You represent that.
The boot is coming down your neck. The boot's coming down someone's neck. The only question is whether your foot is in that boot or not.
Exactly.
Z-Man says Alan Moore is some Unabomber looking mofo. Yeah, but not as cool as the Unabomber.
He definitely. He's all now in his. He was flushed down the toilet with his esoteric books and. Oh,
yeah.
You know.
Snake God worshipper, pathetic loser.
What?
Anti Alan Moore. Oh, you don't know? Freaking Alan Moore worships like some weirdo snake god.
Oh yeah.
Pathetic.
Wow.
And the snoik. They worship the snoik.
Snake. I wish I'm a snake god. I'm basically a pagan. I'm a neo-pagan.
They're
I'm a
like
Cook
Hollywood.
Island neo-pagan. Oh, I believe.
Didn't
He's
the
like fucking
prophet
Bart.
Daniel kill a snake? Like
Huh?
kill a snake? We need to get Daniel over here. Prophet Daniel killed a snake god.
St.
Nice.
Patrick catches snakes out of Ireland. Or the preeminent snakehead crusher of all, the Theotokos, Blessed Virgin Mary.
Exactly.
That's who our patron is. That's why. Okay, the term that we're using for the Twitter account, All Flame Comics, that's from the saying Desert Fathers, which when Desert Fathers, it was being grilled by some like newcomer to his cell, right? And he just turns to him. He's like, "If you will," and he shoots his hand up in the air. His hands become flames. And he goes, "You can become all flame."
Ooh.
That's what we're about. We're all about the truth here. We're not about compromising, which is
Cash
sadly
grabs.
what I think what's the most the complicated guys are all about is just like,
Listen, we're not gonna be
What-
Cyber Frog ever.
yeah, just let us retreat into our escapism.
You can have your
They
comics with gay characters, and I'll have my comics where like Superman punches a guy for like a million years or something.
Yeah, like so okay. As much as much as I love Richard C. Meyer, he always has a phrase when he sees some overly complicated comic plot, which I'll admit are sometimes overly complicated. He'll be like, "God, can you just stop a guy who's robbing a bank or something?" Right? Like, can you just have a guy robbing a bank and you stop him? Can you do that, please? Which I agree that sometimes you just want that simpleness, but
But it misses the
You can't-
whole.
you can't retreat into nostalgia. You cannot retreat into nostalgia. This world's gearing to have you killed. This world's gearing to have your shit deconstructed, destroyed, and buried.
And pushed in.
You can see it with like the originist like people like they
Like the Southern Israelite.
not even like Southern Israelite, like the Fordham University guys were like, oh yeah, look at this like heretic that like was kind of cool with some saints, like
Um,
not really, but like how
Origin was kind of a church father.
yeah, like that, like they find like the like the smallest minuscule school of like a crack in a tradition, where like people be like, oh yeah, Origin was actually fully Orthodox, and then you get like every
That's
single
why he's
church
called
father
Origin.
like attacking him
It's
for
in
his
his
errors.
It's in his
Yeah, that's why
Origin, bro. Say Origin, bro.
That's one of the funniest things was like, do you know theologian mystic gamer?
Who the fuck is that?
He loves him as the kid.
Who the fuck is that?
That's not his real name, but like he's called like the Black Crow, and like his
That's
like
I don't know about this. I need to know.
his Twitter
I used to hate watch.
Listen,
his Twitter header says like theologian mystic philosopher, and we added gamer into it, but
embarrassing, dude. Like listen. If I rolled up like with some banner like that and I showed my priest, he'd be like, "You need to take this down. Stop this. Whatever the hell you're doing, no." Okay.
He sees it. He's like,
Hey guys, I'm a theologian, mystic, philosopher, my lady.
that's so funny. Like that's the thing. Like he thinks like Origin is like the Pope to him. Like it's probably a bad analogy, but like he shared this meme, and it's like he says like, oh yeah, Origin actually influenced every church father, and he's actually like the actual, like he basically thinks Origin is like the fountainhead of like every single like.
okay.
Like,
So,
you know what I mean?
Okay,
It's-
guys.
It's just awful.
I don't know if Origin. I mean, I'm not God. I don't know if Origin made it in the end or not. But if he did,
But he had some fucking wonky teachings, and it was
Yeah.
despite that.
if he did, and he's up there now, I'm sorry. I don't know if there's embarrassment in paradise, but he must be feeling it. Because, Lord have mercy. There's some weirdos out there shilling under his name. Okay.
There's still guys like, hey, Origin, do you remember that little heresy? Yeah.
Guys,
leave me alone.
Like they read like
down there, bro, and he's like, oh, not again.
they
Okay.
read Origin. They read Origin and they read like the books of Origin that were like edited to keep all the heretical stuff out. Like back when, like he had books like he taught like the stars were demons or something, or like the stars were like living beings,
Yes.
and like all this crazy crap. And like he thought like the Son was created by the Father and the Holy Spirit was created by the Son.
Guys,
like-
okay, guys. Before we head out, I'm gonna need some last comments, and we're gonna end the stream tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to listen to this because I guarantee you I just rambled like a retard for like 2 hours.
No, it's fine. I spoke to my wife about this. Alan Moore's Lost Girls is some Weimar tier stuff. Lost Girls is the preeminent example of the problem with Alan Moore. Because it's a fantastic concept. You have the girls aged appropriately. Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, Peter Pan. So they're like old age Alice, like middle age Wendy, or like early age Peter Pan. I might have them wrong, right? But these girls who are from these children's fantasy stories have them stuck in a hotel during like World War I or something, right? And what a fantastic premise for a comic, for a story. Yeah. You have these characters, you're stuck in one place. They have some common experience, or they have like this. They transport to another world, and it's such a on its face. It's
Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, and Peter and Wendy.
Exactly. So like Alice at this point, and age appropriate to the time these stories took place. You have Alice as like an older woman. She's very eccentric. You have these great concepts. But you know what he does with these stories, man? You know what he did with them? The entire comic is like the most badly drawn porn.
Yes.
Not only is it porn, which is a disservice to this fantastic premise, but it's trashily drawn porn. It's not even good. It's just like on so many levels. It's so bad.
I'm reading the plot synopsis and it just sounds evil. Like
it's so bad. I'm just like the so many directions you could have gone with the story, and you went with the worst possible one.
It should have been called "These Bitches Gon' Get It."
Because you're a fucking resident of Cook Island, man.
Yes.
You're a degenerate.
Yeah, so I'm reading this. There's a lot of incest.
Yeah. But have you read Before Vendetta, man? It's so inspiring.
Bro.
You can't kill an idea, bro. You can't kill an idea, bro.
I still haven't seen that either.
You're better off. Anyway, fellas, keep an eye out because this channel is gonna be a lot more comic centric, and I'm sorry if it's not your bag, but I hope you'll stick along for the ride because we're gonna take this industry just to pure shit posting. If not by storm, maybe not. Maybe just by sheer shit posting energy.
You're gonna make a cult classic at least.
A cult classic at least. You know what? That's my goal. At least the cult classic, if not like shutting everybody 100%, 20% forever. All right, fellas.
Get your degenerate friend who likes comics and bring him here if you don't like them.
Next, as far as Nick goes in the chat, I got your latest email. I'll respond to it as soon as I can. It's been a busy week. But good luck, bro. I love you. All right, fellas. You all have a good night. I'm gonna end the call, but you guys want to hang out with me? Because we'll probably talk for a little bit.
I actually have to go, but we'll meet each other.
Fine. That's fine. I'll just hang up with myself. It's fine. Later, guys.
Later, bro.
All right, later. Later, bro.
Nice meeting you.